some drugs.
Yeah, well, you tried and you failed to buy drugs.
Well, now that we have cure moderate wound potions, we can do it again.
That's not your plan. Yeah, so last session, what even happened? Who remembers? I know, like, the last thing that happened, we'll get to that last. Like, I don't remember how we started last session.
We got called by the evil angels.
The evil angel, was that really the first?
We were in Pantaria. We were goofing around a bit.
Was that 2 sessions ago, or just
that was two?
session?
Yeah, I think that was 2 sessions ago.
Was it?
Yeah, that's how you came here. And then when we ended that session, like, you had basically come here to Lawgiver's Rest, and
I think wasn't last session the one where Chris Vors was like schmoozing the woman for an hour or something?
Yes.
First hour?
Yes. Let me look at. Yeah, my notes do say that. Yeah. So basically, there was lunch with whatever her name is. Oh God, I should know what her name is.
Like the Archcountess or whatever.
Vasvian, yes, the Archcountess. So he had lunch with her at a nice place, and
he ate that thing that she hated from the guy that she hated.
Correct. Vors ordered the Avernus Razorback meat, which is like a special pig that is literally from hell. And it's a delicacy. It's a super expensive thing. I think it's like 50 gold or 100 gold for a serving, which is like hilariously expensive. Like peasant seat for a copper. This is like 1,000 times that or whatever. 100 times that? I guess it's 100. So like it's like 100 peasant meals. He's just like, yeah, I'll have that. I'll have the fancy pig. And she was disgusted that he would order it, and she's like, are you a vegetarian or what? Like, why are you so angry about this? And the reason she was angry is because like one of her political rivals, or the person that keeps trying to buy the bar from her, the inn from her, is kind of raises those pigs and sells them. So she just Vors and her went back and forth for a while, and he was kind of trying to pry at her, like, why do you hate him so much? What's going on? And she didn't really let anything go. She just said, like, I just don't want him here. He shouldn't be here. The Hell Knights should never let him out. Things like that. And Vors and her kind of went back and forth, but it seems like she got the better of him more often than not. And yeah, I don't think anything else happened. I don't think anybody remember anything else Vors said.
The only thing I remember from that was that at the end, Vors realized that he should have known everything that they were talking about, and that he like totally misplayed his entire conversation.
Yeah, part of that I feel is on me. Yeah, Vors should have made knowledge checks, and I guess I should have reminded him of that. Because Vors successfully knew a bunch of the things that he found out in the conversation. And the conversations would have gone different ways had he made those checks beforehand. So I'm going to try to be better to remind him of stuff like that if I can remember to.
Well, it was funny for us.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
And then I'm trying to think. I don't remember what happened immediately after that, but then I think he and I split up because I went and we like found the what's the guy's name? I forgot. Like the strong
Siggy
dude. Yeah, the one that's on Maggie's list in Nigorian.
Yep.
We went and found him.
Did you kill him?
No, we didn't kill him.
They didn't find him yet.
They know
we
where
found
he
him.
hangs out, though.
Right. We didn't find him. We know where, and we know he has like distinctive features. Right, he's supposed to be this giant, bald.
Well, you'll know him when you see him. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they said that he has like kind of like black marks on his shoulders that look like lightning bolts or something. Not like a tattoo, just like a weird birthmark or something.
Oh, okay. And then the drug bust, where the non-drug deal happened.
Yeah, Bob, how'd that drug bust go? What do you remember about the drug bust?
Well, it's a drug. I mean, we almost got drugs. What happened?
True.
I valiantly.
By almost, you mean no one had drugs?
Tantalizingly close.
We certainly found people who would certainly associate with people that have drugs.
Okay.
That's true. That's one step closer. Meanwhile, Vors had like a bunch in his pocket back home.
Yeah.
Vors is literally a drug dealer. He has like suppliers now, and he's got riverboats moving his shit. He's got a legit operation.
He thinks he's so special.
And he's like, no, man, I got this. We're gonna get street drugs.
And then I fed Dern, one of the boys.
Yeah, how'd that go? What do you mean? Dern's a halfling. How did you feed a halfling anything? What are you talking about?
He had a rage boner.
He had a rage boner.
I had a rage boner.
What does that even mean?
It means he was large and large enough to eat a man off of a hammer.
Well, I think even with enlarge, I only went medium, but his jaw kind of like expands open and gets hilariously large, and just shoves
It
him
was
in through.
it was awesome. It was awesome.
What else happens
was
when
metal.
you're blood raging, Dern? What else happens? Like, how did you look visually to Bob while you were fighting these thugs?
So basically, like the bottom half of his face turns into like the void. It kind of looks like what the stars look like, or what a black hole would look like if you could see it. And his eyes turn black, and like various parts of his limbs turn black, and he kind of has like whipping void flames coming off of him. And yeah, and then he just charges in like a maniac. But his hair stays perfectly blonde and perfectly shaped.
And you've got you're very fancy. Dern has a token now you can see over here if you hover over
Oh,
it.
token?
Yeah, so he's wearing this fancy vest and this nice white shirt and those desert boots you wanted. So he's dressed
Yes.
really well. And when you rage, do your clothes just stay normal, or like do you at least you stretch them out?
Yeah, I guess his clothes stay normal, but where the void covers his body, it would consume his clothes too.
Okay.
Like half of his body is like black, and this arm's black, and his face becomes like a big jowly, you know. And when he talks, sometimes there's just the sound of the void. I don't know.
So yeah, you guys got into a fight, and they slowed you down, and they basically just played keep away with you, plinking you with arrows and some magic. But in the end, you were able to corner enough of them that they were kind of overconfident in their abilities after seeing you kind of limp around for a while.
They have really good abilities.
Yeah, and once you hit them, like the minor ones just die like in 1 or 2 hits usually. And so you were so injured that they thought they had you, but they overestimated themselves and underestimated you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now we
and-
limp back home.
Yeah, and you survived with 5 hit points on Bob and 26 on Dern. Like you could have easily been left for dead, bleeding on the ground, Bob. Like, one more arrow could have done that. But you survived.
That was crazy. That was so crazy.
One of the hilarious things to me, along with that whole fight, was that because Nero had casted status, he was basically sitting back at the inn, like knowing that these two imbeciles were practically dead.
But didn't do anything about it?
You dick.
I'm like 2 miles from you. Even if I booked out the door, I wouldn't have been there in the 10 seconds you spent fighting.
Do you know
Let's
where,
see
do you
when
know
we
where
come
people
back
are
in.
with status? Like,
Yes.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you know their general direction.
Okay. What are those idiots? Oh no, that's not good.
Oh, he took another hit. Is that
It
his
seems
eating
Dern's
food?
belly is full. I don't know. I guess that's good.
Yeah.
As
So
a
Nero
serious,
basically-
I have a real question.
Yes, Michael Mosky.
So you ate a human,
Yeah.
and then you went back to being a tiny thing.
Yeah.
Where did the human go?
It's a great question.
Is
The
your
void.
stomach? Yeah, but did it really go to the void, or
Void
did?
stomach.
That's the question.
I'd have to say it went to
You
the
have like a
void.
stomach of holding. Like, how does this work?
Yeah, I have a stomach of void holding.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only way this makes sense. Otherwise, there's like a human sticking out of me as I walk down the
Well,
street.
that's what I'm saying. Are you like jacked up right now? Just like a snake that ate a big rabbit.
So
Yeah.
Bob doesn't know this, but Michael Mosky, you can know that basically Dern is kind of like a Blood Ragers or Sorcerer Barbarian mixes. And sorcerers mean you have like some weird blood in you. Like you could be a dragon sorcerer, which means you literally have dragon blood in you, which manifests as dragon magic. And
Okay.
he has aberrant blood. Like so there's some sort of weird like aberration in his bloodline somewhere, and they have like bizarre unexplainable anatomy. So like he has weird stuff, and he's somehow fused with the void. I don't know exactly what kind of aberrations have void powers, but he becomes like a black hole. Part of him is fused with the black hole, and he's going crazy.
Got it.
So yeah, the thing's just gone. Maybe some of it's still in him, but he fed whatever creature.
I might poop out some bones.
You know, whatever. It's fine.
Rage poop.
So yeah, so you guys show back up at Lawgiver's Rest, which is the inn you guys were quartered at. At the Midnight Temple, they gave you a little piece of paper saying that you're supposed to wait here. And more people have come. You've only been here for I think a day and a half. I think.
Joe, wait 1 sec. Are you recording?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I am. Let me confirm. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Video off. So yeah, you guys are back at Lawgiver's Rest, and you kind of limped your way back, and you are seriously injured. So what would you do upon returning back to Lawgiver's Rest?
Yeah.
I say, Bob, I think you got to go inside. You got to find some help, man. You don't look okay.
Is Vors here? Like, I know Vors isn't really here, but yeah, there's Vors.
Yeah, Vors is probably at the tavern. Yeah, this is the evening. He had his lunch. You guys went out when he was at his lunch, but he's back now.
All right, Bob is going to stumble into the bar, probably tripping over the, that's not even a door, whatever. Tripping over the floor there, the changing floor.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess Bob just screams, "I need help."
I'd go to Boars and say, he screwed up, man. This didn't work out so well. I don't know about this guy.
So as you scream that you need help, you look, and there's still like a bunch of people around the tables and stuff, like, because basically everybody's just kind of waiting to be told what to do. Mm-hmm. So like some of them go out, but a lot of people just kind of hang out at the bar, kind of drinking all day, waiting to hear. And you're surprised at how few people even bother to look up when you say that you need help. It's very obvious that this group of people, it's not like a group of heroes you'd find at a tavern for adventurers. Like, they don't care. Most of these people, they don't know you, they don't care about you. But a handful of people look up, and one actually stands up to see if you need anything. And it's this sorcerer actually walks over to you.
God damn it.
And asks, what do you need? He looks you over, and you look fucked up. And Dern says to Vors that he fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm not going to roleplay Vors too much. I don't want to speak for his character. But he would say something to the effect of, yeah, Bob's been known to do that. What did he do now?
And then I'll look over to Iwan and Nero and say, well, we tried to get drugs and we got jumped.
The sorcerer starts laughing.
Of course he did.
I don't know, man.
Vors looks at Bob and asks, why did you go to get drugs? And he just gestures like, you know why I'm asking.
We were out on the town and we needed some Zerk. You weren't there.
Because you weren't here and he was too stupid to wait.
Yeah.
Both of you line up, take your shirts off.
Okay.
Dern's cool with that. All right.
Dern is used to being ordered around, so he's just like, all right.
Bob gets ass naked, I suppose.
Ass naked in the bar. All right. Yeah, so there's a lot more laughing and chittering now. All the people, including some of the ones that didn't bother to look up at you before, are now looking and just laughing at you and eyeballing this group. And again, yesterday...
I'm on the table, it's important.
You're on the table, ass naked.
Yes.
And so there's a good deal of laughing. And remember that Iwan went around kind of talking the party up yesterday. So like this rogue specifically was really into hearing the story of the Angel Knight and how you guys had bested them and made the Glorious Recognition look like fools. But now, like you, who are associated with Iwan, you're making yourself look like quite the fool. And she's confused, and she doesn't really understand. She's beginning to doubt, like, are you really telling the truth? But Bob's up there being naked and touched by Nero. That's 38, 41,
That's
76. 76? Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know why I can't do healing. I don't see the thing.
I don't know.
Did you break the tokens again?
I broke it last time is the problem. I haven't fixed it. Oh, Shirag, question. Can you see the acrobatics skill check?
That's fine.
No, I still have the boxes.
Even for acrobatics?
Hold on, let me actually open skills.
Yeah, open skills. Because I fixed acrobatics as a test.
You know what?
What?
It's actually a little blue box. You know, they're all of them are little white boxes. Here, I can actually show you. Can you see that?
Yeah. Where are you? I don't see the skills though.
It's on the right side. He has a different UI than we do.
Okay. Let me see what he's got.
So it's a little.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah. Okay. That's
a little.
That's just because I think that's the first one it defaults to. So I think that's like selected in that UI.
Okay.
But whatever. It's irrelevant.
All right. I thought that would be the thing to fix it, but okay, that doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. So like if you click appraise, that one will turn blue.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Okay, then
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
then that didn't even work. I thought I had fixed the acrobatics check. Let me try one more thing. Anyway, while I'm fixing that, or trying to fix that anyway. Yeah. So, but Nero's healing you, and you're
I'll
doing
run over to Nero too and be like, "Is it okay if you heal me too?"
Nero doesn't even acknowledge that you've asked him, and just starts like healing you up.
And he says, "Oh, he's like, oh, thank you, sir. Very deferent to you."
Once you're serious, and you should be all set.
Am I still blood raged? No, I'm not. I turned that off.
Yeah, make sure you turn.
You're just walking and doing this.
Yeah, make sure you when you turn it off, resync and pull in the new stats.
Yeah. He also comes in exhausted, I guess, because that's a side effect of being blood raged.
That only lasts rounds, though, right? Or is it last minutes
Yeah.
or hours? Or yeah,
Round.
Rounds? Yeah. Okay. Rounds.
yeah. So you probably
So,
you'd be
yeah.
like tired walking back, but you'd snap out of it. Yeah. So Vors continues to admonish you just a little bit, but again, I'm not going to roleplay Vors for him while he's away. But he kind of just he jokingly admonishes you for being stupid and doing stupid things. And then yeah, so it's now like late afternoon. This is the second day you guys have been there. You slept one night here, I believe. And if you remember, at dinner time, dinner is served here, so you're like guys can come here for dinner. And Loredana, what's her name? Lavasvia, she basically says that she tries to have dinner with the guests every night to hear your interesting stories, but you've got a couple hours before then. Is there anything you guys want to do before that?
Put my clothes back on.
Good call.
Yeah. Get off the table, I suppose, also.
People are definitely murmuring about you, Bob. You don't even make a check for that. You can tell that they're laughing and murmuring about you. Because also, you getting undressed is also an event because you're in heavy armor. It takes like minutes for you to actually like take everything off and like you undo all the straps and take off the big chain shirt and stuff.
And no one tried to stop him, like in the party. Like this is normal for you guys, I guess.
No.
In the party,
Not this particular action, but this amount of absurdity. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anybody would blink an eye at what was happening.
none of the
Yeah.
other patrons there, they didn't care at all. Mr. Alith wasn't around to stop you, and Levistia wasn't there. So like no one really cared that much, apparently.
Mr. Ayla. He
I'll
wouldn't
also,
care anyway.
Mr. Alith might care. Mr. Alith did say several things that you'd be kicked out for, including violence or public drunkenness, which might have been construed as you being naked on the table.
I'm not drunk, though, and that's...
Well, he might assume you were drunk.
Oh, I can intimidate him out of that.
Probably could.
I'll also
Or you could buy him
throw,
his favorite wine again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why would he care? You bribed him.
Yeah, why would he care about his new lover? He wants everyone to know what he's working with.
Right?
I'll also throw the sack of loot on the table, and I'll just be like, "Yeah, I don't normally know what to do with this. Someone else usually comes and gets it, but you guys can figure it out."
Yeah. I think I'm not sure if I put that in the chat room or whatever, but there was a pile of loot. Did I make a?
Yeah, you put it in the loot.
Okay.
We'll deal with this. We'll get you kitted up, and if we part ways, we'll sort you out. Sound fair?
Thank you, friend.
I would like to try to play the violin that I have now.
You got a violin? Was that part of the loot?
Yes,
He took one. Yeah, he did.
I did take the violin.
Okay. That's a performance check.
Go over it.
Yeah, I know.
Are you trained in playing the violin?
Apparently so. Look at that fucking roll.
That didn't answer my question.
That would be a no.
That's a hard no, but look at those fucking numbers.
Can you
Give
make,
him-
can
give
you
him-
make
give
performance
him-
checks without being trained? Probably, right?
They let me roll it.
Well, it doesn't mean anything. It means I'm bad at making the thing.
They rolled it twice for some reason.
Because you can have multiple skills, and usually there's 2 slots on the sheet. I don't think it's trained only, so yeah, you can pick up a lute and try to play it, or a violin in this case.
Oh,
All right.
So you play extraordinarily well. Why don't you describe what you do?
Bob picks up his violin, which he's carrying for some reason still. I assume that he has it strapped to his back.
Okay.
much like a guitar on a bandolier, and he begins to play the violin. I assume like a guitar because he doesn't have a bow to play it with.
There would have been one on the person that had it, presumably. But if you want to,
It wasn't explicitly written, so I don't know.
all right, fine.
And he plays like the equivalent of like Highway to Hell, I guess, but like it's Stairway. Because we're demons, we're from hell, and that's it.
And
Bob
it's,
plays the ukulele.
yeah, ukulele. And it's surprisingly good for what he's doing. Again, like he's plucking violin strings, and it shouldn't make any sense, but he does an admirable job of it. People in the room don't seem particularly impressed by the performance, but they're not like booing you or anything like that.
Maybe while Bob's playing it, he uses like the calluses on his fingers as something of a bow
What is
to cause vibration on the string. Yeah, yeah.
So maybe you get some
That's crazy.
some violin tunes in there. And again, if people are surprised and they like, they don't, again, they're not like clapping you on or anything, but they don't seem to mind and they continue to go about their drinking and chatting.
All right, that's fair enough.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do before dinner time?
So, assuming that Vors will be tied up tomorrow, Dern, I might have some business you could help us with.
Oh,
It's drugs.
I'm guessing you know how to use that big sword. I'm guessing that with a leash as long as yours, you know how to make things happen.
yeah. Don't tell anyone, but that's what I do.
I mean, I think the sword sort of tells everyone in the room.
Oh, really?
You see any other halflings in this room?
You do not.
Yeah, I
And they
guess
all
you're
steer
right.
wide clear of you.
And he kind of looks down at his feet. Like, as soon as you say that, he feels kind of defeated.
But that's okay. I mean, that's why I know you're useful. So we'll talk about it some more. But Iwan and I have been hatching ideas.
Okay, just if the queen calls me, I gotta go, no matter what, no
course.
matter where I am.
If the queen calls any of us, we'd have to go.
Okay, because last time, yeah, wasn't good. And he walks back over, and you can see like a visible concern on his face as he says that.
Last time? The time they summoned you here?
He like leans into you, and he says, "You know, I keep talking about escaping, and I actually tried once. That was the last time, and the first time."
This is a conversation that you and I are not going to visit again, because I don't want to get killed by the Queen's people either.
He looks sad at you, and then he starts laughing. He's like, "Yeah, everyone says that. So that's why I got this, I guess."
Yes, that would be why. I think it'd be a good thing to enjoy your station, and if you ever get a favor, maybe you could ask that of the Queen, but I don't think that's a good idea to discuss.
And he nods off. He walks and nods.
Okay, Nero's all sorted out. He's just gonna get his stuff together.
All right. Anybody else doing anything before dinner time?
Nothing notable, I don't think.
Bobbert, you're just gonna hang out and get drugs from Vors, maybe?
I
Yeah,
mean,
hit the jerk or what?
no, we're not gonna hit it now, you fucking moron.
Why?
You hyped me up on all this Zerk. I guess after getting beaten up, he's not into it.
Yeah, relax. We'll get it another time, but don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So dinner time rolls around, and just like last time, the what's not Demi Baron? Where is she? She's
Levispia.
Archcountess.
Oh, yeah.
She shows up. Her bow is not in tow. Her bow, what's his name? Niccolo.
Boo.
Niccolo. I don't remember his last name.
Niccolo it is.
Niccolo Alizario is not with her, but she shows up, and she has taken a particular interest in the party. You guys were new as of yesterday, and she sat with you last night because you were the new guys and she wanted to know what was going on. But she is particularly interested, she was particularly interested in Vors, but after her conversation with him over lunch, she's kind of grown tired of him. She basically asked if he had a patron in the court, and he said no. And she asked, kind of slyly, would you like one? And he was like, no, not really. It's too soon. It's too soon to act. And she was rather put off by that. She didn't understand what was going on. And they played a little cat and mouse. They went back and forth, and they realized they were both playing games. And he told her to drop the act. And basically, she's like, you're so close to greatness. Like I know a little about you and your family. When are you going to reach for what's yours? And Vors basically said, not yet. But she still seems interested in the party, so she sits down with you, and she begins dining. And today's dinner is little like hens, Cornish game hens. Everybody gets thrown a little chicken. And she sits down with you, and she looks specifically at Bob, and she's asking you, like, you tell me a story. What do you do? What have you done?
Your groans.
What's that?
You're
what
groaned
about
at you.
Nero groans. Where did I get the ukulele from, or the violin?
One of the bandits that was casting spells on you. Oh no, there was a bard. There was a bard in the group.
There was a bard.
That's why they all died.
They almost won.
The
But
theory
they
stands
didn't
correct.
win.
But they didn't win because they had a bard. It's true.
Does
The theory is true.
Do you want to hear about my dreams, or do you want to hear a story?
She raises an eyebrow and says, your dreams?
My dreams.
Would they interest me?
They're interesting to me.
Do go on.
All right. Well, so I am planning on opening a distillery to make fine Scotch.
And she also doesn't groan like Nero. She's a bit more poised than that, but you can tell almost immediately that she's completely disinterested in what you've said. Did you talk to her about this? I know we joked that we talked to Mr. Aleph a lot about it, but I think you also brought this up with her before, or am I misremembering that?
No, I wanted to. I don't think we actually did, because what I wanted to do was buy the friggin' I wanted to buy this land and do it here.
Yeah. So you
No,
can tell-
I think last time he was talking to her, he was like starting to talk about the gate, and then almost spilled the beans
That's
from that.
right. That's right. That's true. Yeah, you talked a lot about the gate actually. Yeah, so she was interested in hearing about your dreams, but you can tell almost immediately, like you go on for a couple of minutes, and it takes you a little bit to catch on, but she is very, very disinterested. So you're talking about like, oh, I'd like to start a distillery, we're going to make this stuff called Chach, and blah, 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 blah. And you can tell, like, she is not interested in this at all. And she looks at you, and she just plainly says, like, that's your dream? That's what you want to do?
That's my retirement strategy, yes.
When do you plan to retire? And she eyeballs you, because you're presumably a fairly young person?
I mean, when the time is right, I don't know. Who can really say?
You don't have an age on your sheet because you're you.
Yes.
You could be 70 for all I know.
Bob is null.
Yeah, but presumably you're like a young, like 20s or 30s, or I don't know. I don't know. How old is Bob? You tell me.
How old is Bob? Bob, well, what's old in this universe?
I mean, I don't know. You can be 70. People survive that long.
Bob will be 30, I guess.
Okay, Bob's 30. Yeah, so she looks you over and she says retirement, and she gestures like, have you made that much already?
No, not yet. I said who can tell. This could be another 20 years down the road.
And she gestures to your armor, which is very clearly Moloch infused. Like it's not just something somebody else would wear. Like, and what of that? Gestures to your holy symbol. Gestures to the holy symbol on your chest.
I mean, you have to wear one.
You have to wear one?
I mean, everybody should wear one.
She seems interested in that, but she's looking at the other people as if like, is this guy for real? Is he all there? Looking at Nero and Iwan.
He's not all there, but he hits hard, so he's around.
He's not all there, but he hits hard.
And she seems interested. She goes, ooh, ooh, and she turns back to you, Bob, like, what have you hit hard?
Walls.
She looks at Iwan. Walls?
Sometimes even invisible ones, yes.
She looks a little confused and just shakes her head. And she says, is that all you want? Bob, was it?
Yes, I'm Bob.
That's all you want?
No, it's not all I want. It's just one of my dreams.
What are you doing here? Why are you an agent of the Queen?
Well, everyone should have you serve the Queen. That's what we do.
She shakes her head and says, most of the people out there in the city do not.
Well, they're not my friends.
She says, I do not. And she gestures as if she doesn't have a rune anywhere to show you.
Well, but we're all here right now, aren't we?
She looks
Durin
confused.
chuckles at that.
She looks confused and says, yes.
All right. I mean, technically, this is serving the Queen, right?
She nods and she says, I have made my inn available at the Queen's request, yes.
So you're serving the Queen, whether directly or indirectly.
She nods and does a little salute and says, like, for Queen and Empire.
All right. Bob doesn't know that, so maybe Bob does, but I don't.
Yeah, that's a thing. For Queen and Empire is a saying.
All right.
It's also the name of the chapter that you're in right now, book 4.
Excellent.
What?
Nice. But yeah, so she seems like she's trying to pry something fun out of you, and you're not really giving her much at all. So she turns.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, like outside of that, I got yelled at the last time I talked to her.
You did. Vors scolded you. So if you're role playing, keeping your tongue tight because of that, kudos to you. But she seems bored. And she looks around, and Nas isn't here, so she's not going to look to Nero. Oh, Nas coming back. But she'll turn to Iwan and says, "You've spoken of violence before, yes? What? Tell me a story. Tell me something. What else have you done?"
Well, we told you a lot of stories last time.
Certainly, you
but-
have more.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a lot of stories. We actually haven't heard yours, though. And I think we're interested in learning more about that.
She sits back in her chair and gestures as if like, oh, it's nothing. And she says, there's not much to tell. I mean, what would you like to know? It's fairly mundane compared to everything I've heard from you.
Well, yeah, we can't know that because we haven't heard anything. You asked us for interesting stories. What's your most interesting story?
I don't know.
Did they give you a list of interesting stories?
They give me a list of rumors about her.
How they always do that.
Which I don't. Well, I don't think we would know any of those.
I
Vors
think
might.
I think Vors knew all of them last time. So you you can make a knowledge and ability check if you happen to have that.
I probably do.
Yeah, so go ahead and mash it.
Oh.
Iwan, you know 2 of the lower level ones. So you know that her last name Vasvian is an ancient Chelish family that's even before like Cheliax was a formal nation. Like it's hundreds of years old.
Okay.
But within the past century has kind of declined into almost nothingness. And this lady, Lavasvia Vasvian, is like the only Vasvian of note. Like everybody else is a nobody, like a flunky in some far-flung region of the Empire. She's the only one actually present in the capital and the only one with any real wealth. And you also know that she was able to increase her house's prestige and wealth through shrewd business deals, her friendship with the Queen, and a series of brief marriages to wealthy nobles. And you... Oh, did Nero roll? Okay. Nero rolled just barely better than you. Surprising, because Nero's Nero. Nero knows the second one. Some call Lavesvia a Black Widow. Though only 27 years old, she's been married 3 times, and all of her husbands have died suddenly and under questionable circumstances. While the Archcountess has never been implicated in her husband's deaths, many still question the wisdom of the mayor's youngest son, Niccolo Alizario, who will soon be Lavasvia's 4th husband.
Tell us how you met Niccolo. I mean, he can't be more than 19, 20?
She nods. Certainly, some say I'm robbing the cradle there, but And she shakes her head like, who can say about love? Who can say who loves who? And she just goes on like, oh, how we met? And she's like, he's the Lord Mayor's son. Everybody know him. He attends various social functions, and at one of them, he was paired to dance with me, and we got to talking. And she gestures as if that should be enough for you.
Is that how love happens? Dancing?
And she looks at you quizzically.
Yeah, love.
And she says, sometimes, yes. Do you not know love? And she struggles to remember your name, and genuinely can't, because you're a halfling, and who the hell would remember a halfling's name?
He says, no, not really. Not really.
And she looks at you, and now you've piqued her interest, because she was kind of just ignoring you, but now you've spoken. And she says, you've never known love. And she looks, certainly there are many of your kind around.
I simply know rage. I've just been a tool.
And that
like many
intrigues
other
her.
actors.
She says, "What have you done?" She again, rage and violence intrigues her. Like, tell me something to prime me from the boringness of the imperial court.
He says, and he takes a while to say this. Any friend of the queen is a friend of mine, but unless the queen has authorized you, I can't tell you anything. And he stares her like with an intimidating glare in her eyes.
Toss an intimidate check.
Yeah, let's see what I got.
Yeah,
Let's see if you can find it. If you can, I'll make it for you. But
I'll just do the manual.
sure, also works.
Can I assist the intimidate check?
No.
Damn it.
Oh, not
You
bad,
got
not
a
bad.
20, and the DC is 10 plus her hit dice plus her wisdom. Yeah, so you stare at her and make a sense motive check as well. Just roll d20 and add that back
Okay.
in.
I have a 0.
Oh, good. So just roll d20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody else give me a sense motive check as well. So you intimidate her, and she jumps up and she gasps a little bit.
That's funny.
Bob and Nero.
Everyone but Dern knows what's going on.
No, none of you know what's going on. Yeah, so all of you believe she was feigning her being scared. You didn't actually scare her, but all of you believe she is scared. I should be rolling those secretly, I guess. But yeah, so she's like, oh my, and she was scared for a second. It's like, oh well, the queen and I are good friends. I assure you, I would never do anything to compromise anything she was involved in. And she's playing scared and coy now. And she says, but that intrigues me ever the more. What is your name? Perhaps I could ask the queen about you.
Dern, servant to the queen and house through.
And
And he does hail queen or whatever.
And she says, dirt. She looks at you as if looking for confirmation.
No, Dern, D-U-R-N, Dern.
Dern.
Just Dern.
Just Dern.
Just Dern. Fred Durst.
She nods. He says, you intrigue me, Dern. I will ask about you next time I see the queen.
And he nods his head down. My pleasure.
And she looks at the sword on your back, it's comically anime size, and she says, you can swing that. Is that part of the things you do for the queen?
And he runs over to Bob and hits him in the back. He's like, yeah, me and him. That's what we do.
And she turns back to Bob. You work for the queen?
Yeah. Like I said before, everybody should.
She's beginning to doubt what's going on. Nero's shaking his head. She begins to doubt now what Dern has said, now that he's thrown his lot in with Bob. She says, interesting. And she turns back to Nero and says, and you know these two? You've known them for long?
Can I intimidate her?
What are you saying or doing?
It's ridiculous that you don't believe me.
You're just saying that, and you're trying to intimidate her?
Yeah.
It's not very intimidating.
Yeah, but Bob's saying it.
But are you pounding the table and like standing up, or what are you doing? How are you acting?
Yeah, I guess Bob. Like, I'm not gonna break the violin. It's too precious to me right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you
Bob,
have to actually be intimidating. Like, how are you acting?
I tap the hammer on the table.
You draw your weapon and you tap it on the table. You're
Shame.
magical.
No, I assume that. No, I assume that the weapon was in play already. All right, never mind then.
You're not sitting at a dinner table holding your
fine.
magic
Holding-
hammer.
Is there a knife on the dinner table? I'm gonna take a knife.
Yes, you're taking a
I'm
knife.
I'm gonna stab it into the table, and I'm gonna say it's ridiculous that you don't believe me.
And she looks at you quizzically, and she looks at the knife and back at you, and yeah. So you've actually scared her. So she does pause for a moment. You can see in her eyes that like for a moment she fears for her life, but she looks around the room, and other people are looking at you now too. And it's pretty plain that if a fight were to break out, that a lot of people would probably not be on your side of the fight. And she looks around the room, and she is genuinely scared for a moment, but then feels confident, assessing the mood of the room, that she's not in any real danger. But she is taken aback for a moment. And she said, I meant no offense, I just... How do you serve the queen? What have you done for her?
Oh, I'm not gonna tell you that. like my little buddy here has said, and I pat Dern on the back. Like my little buddy here has said, without authorization, we're not telling you anything.
And what you are Bob what?
Without authorization, we're not telling you anything.
And she
You're
says,
telling me, mate.
I would ask the queen about you. I would.
You can just say Bob.
And she says, that's a fairly common name. I doubt you'll be.
She'll know.
Are you that distinguished?
She'll know.
Well, she seems incredulous and doesn't really believe that, but says, all right, I shall try.
All right.
She looks around at everybody else, and basically she hasn't really gotten a story at anybody. So yeah, she told you how she met the Lord Mayor's son at a dance. And she looks at Nero and says,
There, if your interest is violence, there has to be more to it than that. I'll tell you what, you tell me a little more about you and Niccolo, and I'll tell you about the fall of Cantaria.
That does interest her. She's like, ooh, I've only heard rumors about Cantaria. And she said there's some sort of provisional agreement, or I don't fully understand it.
I can explain that to you as well.
And you can tell that she goes back and forth with you for a moment, trying to keep turning it back to you, like you tell me. But you're stubborn. I can already tell that you're going to be stubborn.
So he'll tantalize her, and he basically says, well, what we did was we started by breaking out the Thrune loyalists they had imprisoned in a prison camp outside of town, slaughtering all the angels there, and killing the woman who guarded the place. She was a monk of some sort. Her skin was tattooed with the verses of Iomade.
And like you have like her rapt attention when you start describing all the things you've done. Like you watch it, like she's completely focused on you and like hanging on your every word. She's super excited as you explain everything and all the slaughter and the killing of the angels. And she asked you a bunch of questions about the monk. Like, what did the verses say? What happened? How did she fight?
Bob, can you? And Nero goes like this.
Goes like what?
Like this.
Oh. I don't know what that means.
He's
really.
asking you to pull your shirt. Can you pull your shirt open?
Yeah. Oh, fuck, dude. It's gonna take me a minute. But all right.
Just pull the collar.
Well, it's
All right.
got armor on, but yeah.
Yeah. Bob pulls his steel armor and flexes it with magic.
And you are literally wearing her skin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Levesvia looks at you and her eyes go wide. She's like, you're wearing her skin?
Without
Functionally,
authorization.
Functionally, it's angel skin.
And she looks back and forth for a moment, like completely on like, and what does that do?
So if it's cured properly, basically
Makes a good jerky.
bad things don't detect as bad to, say, paladins. And things tend not to hit you as hard.
Ooh, and she seems like completely enthralled by this. I've never heard of such a thing. And
Probably more than one shirt of it in the room.
She looks around. She's like, so interesting. She's looking around to see if anybody else is wearing some monk's skin. and she plays nice. She gives you a little bit more about her and Niccolo. But none of it's all that interesting. You know, he's the son of a Lord Mayor. I think he's like the second or third son, so he's not in line for any major inheritance or anything like that. And Lord Mayor isn't in an inherited position anyway, so it's not like his son would become the Lord Mayor of the city. He's like he's just like the mayor of Agorian, basically. So the queen is here and she rules the empire from here, but the actual duties of running the city fall to the Lord Mayor. Like the queen doesn't care about like the grain supply in the city and things like that. The Lord Mayor handles all that stuff.
So he's the third son. Is he a priest, a caster, a student, a thug,
She
a
shrugs.
swordsman?
She shrugs and says, "None of those things really. He's just interested in the arts and travel and seeing the world. Like he's interesting to me because he's untethered. So many people here are bound to this place, and he seems like he understands his position and accepts and embraces it.
Interesting.
This place is very interesting, and my friendship with the queen is dear to me, but there's more to the world than Agorian."
Very true. So Nero will break down some more of the Cantaria thing and just sort of, he breaks it into sort of tantalizing pieces and sort of probes her for more information about what's going on in the city. Basically, probably getting a lot of the same information that Vors gets. And occasionally he'll trail off and like come up with some amazing piece of information based on what she says that will probably be like, whoa, how do you know that? But that's about it.
Anything specific you want to know about the city, or?
What's going on in the city, the structure of things, how to get things done in terms of like legal type things, and maybe anything else about the other patron that tried to get at us. And I assume that we know about a little bit about Levisvia and sort of like probing her for that sort of information as well. Like possible people who might be interested, that sort of thing.
Okay. Levisvia definitely tells you that, you know, the courts of Agorian are the courts, and to get anything done legally takes ages, she says. And you can tell that she has a little bit of disdain for, like, the bureaucracy in the town, the city. But basically, you know, this is a hellbound empire. Like, everything is contracts, everything is negotiated, and things, like, there's contingents of lawyers, basically. This whole town is run by lawyers. And she says, if you're looking to get anything done, like there's several courthouses in town and several bars where the lawyers hang out. And if you're looking to expedite something, buying a lawyer a drink is always a good way to get that moving forward. When you ask about Sethic, she visibly is like repulsed by the idea of this man. And she kind of reiterates the same sort of stuff she told Vors, that, like, you know, basically. He was taken away by the Hell Knights several years ago, and was held for, I think, 2 full years. And during that time, his properties were all auctioned off, and her late husband had bought most of them. She had urged him to do this. Like, she was kind of the business mind behind their arrangement, and she urged him to buy all of these businesses. And then Sethic was mysteriously released from his capture, like, I think a year or two ago as well. So it was like 2 years of capture and then 2 years out since then. And ever since, he's basically just been like on a warpath to reacquire everything he had. And she says, it doesn't make sense. He could buy anything he wanted. He has the money. He could do his own thing, but he wants everything he had back. He wants to, he's fixated on it. And these are my things now. I built the home here. I built something here. And she just shrugs like, and I won't let him have it.
So like you said, some people are tethered to a place, some people are bound by structure.
She nods, and she says, I hope one day to leave this place, but, you know, I'm not going to shake up my entire life just because he wants his things back.
Still, sturdy man. 2 years with the Hell Knights is not something to be taken lightly. And he came back, and to be honest, the shape he's in, I'd expect worse.
She nods, but you can tell she doesn't want to agree with you, but she nods and says, they really should have finished him off. I don't know why they let him go at all.
I imagine, from what I heard, the Queen herself pardoned him, right?
She nods and says, that's what they say, but she's never confirmed that to me.
If that's true, then he must have some value beyond what the normal person's committed to the Hell Knights does.
She nods and says he knows things. He's a mover and a shaker. He's definitely, maybe not as much as he was 4 years ago, but she nods and says he's not without merit. And the queen, he definitely has the queen's ear. She acknowledges that. It says he's on his last legs though. He's done. He's almost done.
We'll see. We'll see, I suppose, considering that we've been here. Considering how long I've heard that some people have been here, we might be here long enough to see the end.
She nods and says, I'm not sure how long, we'll be waiting here. The rumor is that the queen has a plan. The queen's working on something where she's sussing out who she wants for some critical operations or something like that. And she says, but I'm only privy to a lot of the gossip the queen has. I'm not so much her tactical acumen.
Have you heard any gossip about what she's looking for?
And she shakes her head and says, not particularly. Discretion, I would imagine, based on who she is. And she says, it's also I believe that the sacrifice is due soon. So maybe a group capable of doing that.
The sacrifice?
She nods and says, yes, the sacrifice. And Nas walked away for a second, so I'll wait. Or can you hear us? Well, he's muted. He can't tell us he's here.
Sorry, 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's fine.
I have to cliffhanger of the story. What crime did this guy commit? I think I missed that.
Delgano Sethic, the other guy? You don't know.
Yeah.
No one knows. He was mysteriously imprisoned and then mysteriously freed. And both times was by the queen's command, supposedly.
Okay.
So he crossed the queen, and then somehow she let him out 2 years later. After 2 years of intense torture by the Order of the Scourge, which is like the Gestapo in Agoria, basically. They root out bad people. So you asked bad people in quotes.
Yeah.
Bad to whom?
Bad hombres.
So you ask about the sacrifice, and she now says, "Oh yes, of course, the infernal sacrifice, to reaffirm the pact with hell."
Ah.
And you would all know this. This is not a secret knowledge, but basically the Thrun family, it's not just they claim to be aligned with devils. They signed a compact with Asmodeus, and they perform a sacrifice yearly to reaffirm that, and that involves a human sacrifice. And all kind of and a pilgrimage and all these things. And she's not explaining this to you, but this is common knowledge. The Thrun family does something that involves human sacrifice and kind of just giving to hell to reaffirm every year to get their infernal power, to keep their control on the empire.
Presumably the humans that they sacrifice have some value, though, right? Do we know anything about how they usually choose who gets sacrificed? That
is not common knowledge, no. I wouldn't probably wouldn't know that. But you would know that there is definitely a human sacrifice component to it. But again, so the Archcountess lets you guys know that the sacrifice is due soon, and the Queen usually does look for an entourage to either perform the acts for her or to help her pilgrim there, where she needs to go.
Oh,
but she looks for people she's not familiar with to do this. Doesn't she have a crew that would normally help?
Dern.
She nods and says, "There's a lot going on today in Nagorian," and she kind of gestures towards Nero, who was kind of prodding at what's going on in the city, and he says, "This revolution has shaken things up quite a bit, and the Queen does not know truly who her friends are. I think she's trying to suss that out right now."
That's fair.
Yeah, the less people know, the less they can meddle.
She nods and says, "There were many who would see the sacrifice interrupted," and she doesn't list anybody, but she kind of just gestures at there are different factions in play that would see House Thrun fall so they could ascend.
Yeah, just like hell.
Fair point.
So Nero will basically regale her with some more of the Cantaria stuff, but he leaves a lot of juicy stuff out and sort of slow rolls, probably to, maybe when the councils first starts to get like lose the people. So like maybe the first third of the chapter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so again, when you're talking about it, she seems completely like fixated on you. And she's super excited, and she loves the cloak and dagger. As much as she likes the violence and the stories of how you killed angels and stuff like that, the fact that you were like working behind the scenes to maneuver yourself onto the town council and kind of like, sway the people away from them, she seems even more enthralled with that. Like, so you changed their minds. You got them to you got the people to give up the hopes of all the glorious reclamation.
You mean the delusion? Yeah.
She giggles and says, and she claps and says, "Yes, of course." But you convinced the people?
Yeah, pretty much.
We may have exaggerated a little bit, but we just accelerated the learning curve for them. They would have found out that it was a farce.
I think they probably would have got ground under heavy cavalry, but
she nods and says, "That's the way I would have expected the rebellion to be quashed. It seems that's the heavy hand of House Thrune." And she asks you some more questions about the state of like the current state of Cantaria. Do you tell her anything about like how it's sort of free but not?
He won't go into crazy detail about it, but he'll, basically there's legal proceedings going on. There was the quick way, which is basically grinding everyone down and putting everyone to the sword, or there was the finesse way. We chose the finesse way.
Yep. She nods. That's very interesting.
It's more sustainable. It's less to worry about, right? People have chosen this. They're not going to fight against it. They're not going to be taken by another movement that comes along. They know it's crap.
And she seems extremely interested in the way you phrased all that. And she looks at you as if she didn't expect that from you. Like the interactions you've had with her so far, it seems like she kind of didn't think you would think like that, didn't think you would talk like that, and the plainness at which you spoke it kind of shocks her a little bit. And she seems very interested in you, Iwan. "You have a shrewd mind," she says, and just rubs her chin.
I like to think so. Yeah.
There are many games being played here in Agori, and you may be apt to play them yourself.
Or I may be playing them already.
She laughs and says, "Oh, I hope to see you in the courts then. Perhaps you may catch the Queen's ear." And she basically, throughout this entire dinner, she all but ignores Vors. If Vors tries to butt into the conversation, she hears him out politely and just kind of moves on to somebody else as if she doesn't care what he's saying or didn't even hear what he's saying. But she's not openly rude to him, but you can tell that she's not happy with him. Anybody want to say or do anything else during dinner?
I think towards the end, Iwan would just say, like, obviously we have crashed this party kind of late. These folks, she'll like point around the room to, they've been here for much longer. I assume you've spoken to most of them. Who else here is interesting? Like who either had a good story or like she's trying to like see how their stories are comparing to the rest and see like who else might be a somewhat equal to the party.
She looks around the room and then looks back at you, and her eyes are like kind of glazed over for a moment. He says, "No one has stories as interesting as you. No one has quashed rebellions. No one has changed the hearts and minds of people." And she looks at Bob as, "No one has whatever you did at the gate." And looks at Bob as if waiting for you to say something about it.
I sense motive. Go.
You sense motive?
What is this person doing?
What is your question? Like, you rolled very well.
Point.
What is your question?
Well, you said her eyes glassed over. Is that a thing? Is she fucking with me? Is this a lie? Is this some weird
No.
bullshit spell?
She looked around the room, and she seems genuinely like disinterested in the people in the room compared to you. Like you genuinely believe that she thinks you are the most interesting people staying at her tavern. That you guys have the stories that matter, and like she gestures to a couple of people and like tells you what they've done, but they're all thugs. They're all thugs that do things, and like they've killed Glorious Reclamation, but they haven't done the level of things the party has done.
So I would lean in a little bit closer and say, like, it really feels like a shame that all of us will just appear equal in the eyes of those making the decisions. Like, nobody can really know what we've done, but it is pretty remarkable. Like, wouldn't you agree?
She nods and says it certainly is, and she glances at Vors for a moment and then back at Iwan, and she says, what would you have people hear? What would you have them say about you?
Well, I mean, you've heard a lot of the good stuff, right? Like, we told you about Longacre last time. Nero has begun to tell you, some of what we were able to accomplish in Cantario. We'll have many dinners to discuss the rest. That alone should, distinguish us from the rest, I would think.
She nods and she says, if the queen would hear that, yes.
Right, agreed.
She looks around the table at the others, and she like noticeably like just jumps past Vors and everything. Like she slowly does around the table, and they just boom like over Vors, as if he was nothing to her.
Well, I guess, you've heard stuff from us. If you'd be willing to put in a good word, we'd be appreciative.
And she looks at you coyly again. She puts on the face. Like she has this face when she's like she's playing the game. And Vors knows it very well, and I'm pretty sure anybody like I guess Bob would know it with a sense motive like that. But she looks at you again, and she's acting coy as if. And what would be in that for me if I were to tell the queen? If I do have the queen's ear after all.
She'll remember you as the person who scouted us out when we accomplish the great deeds that we are sure to accomplish for her.
She waves her hand and says, look, I don't need any. The queen's esteem of me is and she gestures like this. That would not impress me at all. Like that's not worthwhile to me.
You have no room to move up further than your current station?
Well, certainly, but through the proper channels, perhaps. But the queen cannot just elevate me to whatever position she would have me. The courts would not allow that.
I'd like to think that the queen could get around the courts.
She chuckles a bit and says she tries from time to time, and from time to time she succeeds, but Agorian is Agorian.
Fair enough. Well, we might have more stories. There's that too.
She nods, says that does interest me more. And she begins to get fixated on you, Io, and she does seem rather interested in you. And she says, "And what do you think about Sethic?"
I don't like to form strong opinions of people I don't know. I know nothing of them.
Better for you, then, I suppose. He's a horrible man. Detestable.
Is there more to... I mean, basically what I've heard from you so far is that he came back and wanted his businesses back. It seems, reasonable based on what happened to him. I can understand why that would be annoying to you. I feel like I'm struggling to understand just the level of disdain that you have. What else is behind that?
Toss a diplomacy check in there as well.
Sure. That guy.
Yeah. So she looks at you and she begins to open up a little more than she had with Vors, and she says, he's been slandering me both at court and at other events of the nobility. He claims that I've been killing my husbands and things like that, and there's no truth to those rumors at all.
You think it's just because he is angry that you still have his stuff? He's just like trying to drag you down out of spite?
Of course, that's it. He's been adamant about wanting his ventures back. He wants this inn. He wants all of his things back in I forget the name of the district. The Low District, we'll call it. He wants all of his holdings in the Low District. He's been trying very hard to buy things back and succeeding with other people, but I simply refuse.
And so he's playing dirty. He's playing dirty games now.
Indeed, and I'm tired of him. I'm tired of. I wish to put that slime in his place.
So I mean,
What does that mean?
why don't you? Why haven't you?
She says that there's little an archcountess such as myself can do.
How much money do you have?
Are you asking that?
No.
Um, I mean, it makes sense that you're frustrated for that, and like it seems to me like it makes sense he's frustrated that he can't get his stuff back. It makes sense that you're frustrated that he's slandering you. If he stopped slandering you, would there be any room for you to, I don't know, give up your disdain for him?
She shakes her head, says, "No, it's personal now. It's been too much." And she says, "I've had enough of his pathetic scrambles for past glory and all of the rumors he's been spreading. He must be dealt with. He must be destroyed."
What do you envision destroying him looks like?
Economic ruin, social fall from grace. And she goes on and on.
Isn't that where he is right now?
No, he's clawed his way back up to an admirable position considering where he started 2 years ago. The fact that he has any relevance in the court at all astounds me, but he does.
I guess I'm not sure what to say. It's, yeah.
Yeah. So she looks at you for a while, and there's a pause, like an awkward pause in the air, and you can tell that she's very visibly like sizing you up, like you specifically, but also the rest of the party. And she glances again at Vors and then back to you, and then says, "Perhaps we could help each other then, if you would aid me in speeding along the destruction of Sethic. Perhaps I could mention the very helpful Thrune agents next time I see the Queen."
I'll at least listen to what you're thinking. You're muted. You're muted, Nas. Are you talking to us?
There seem to be a lot of ifs in there.
I'm willing to listen. What
Fair enough.
what do you have in mind for what we would do?
She leans in conspiratorially, basically, kind of like all the other people in the room. She doesn't want to hear what she's saying, and she whispers to you, Iwan, that she has on good information that Sethic, despite his recent business deals, hasn't been doing very well, generating like cash flow, and that he has taken a loan from some out-of-towners. Like nobody in Agorian will loan him money anymore because he's not good for it. But he's taken a loan from outside sources somewhere else in Cheliax, and that he has money coming in. She doesn't explain where or how, but he has money coming in that could be co-opted or interrupted or intercepted.
Yeah,
And
I understand.
And she basically says that I would look to do that. I would look to make sure that Sethic never sees that coin.
Interesting. Okay.
She continues on saying that he would still be responsible for his portion of the loan, and that would probably ruin him.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I don't want to make any promises, but I'll look into it. I think you can understand that I want to understand this whole situation a little bit better before getting super involved myself. But I'm listening. I understand your perspective. Um, I may be willing to help.
Okay. She nods, and you can tell that she's not happy that you didn't immediately agree with her. But your diplomacy check and the way you've explained yourself, kind of, she understands that, and she says, "Do know that this is not a, this is a limited time offer. This delivery is happening in like a day or two, or the next couple of days. So your decision has to be made fairly soon if you wish to intercept this money."
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so we can take a 2-minute bio break. I see people are asking for it. So yeah, so if you have anything else at the dinner, let me know, but go ahead and run to the bathroom if you like.
Bob would like to perform once more before.
Play your violin, Bob.
All right, play it out. That was not terrible.
That
That was
yeah,
pretty bad though.
that's pretty bad. Again, that's not like no one boos you, but no one is even remotely interested in it. They just seem to barely tolerate you as they continue eating and drinking.
That's fine.
I think it's fair to say that the party would have been really the fact that Bob would play the violin would be absolutely fascinating to.
The party can react however you want. I'm just telling you how the NPCs in the room react. You haven't performed so badly that they've booed you yet, which is astounding. But the party can be however they want to be. Right.
Whatever, Bob's a recreational violinist. All right.
Apparently, back in a bit, yeah.
So the story is making us pick our loyalties, I guess.
Probably, yeah. We'll see. Maybe there's other options.
Yeah. I really I don't know how we'd find the information, but I'd really love to know who the Hell Knights were with Sethik, so that we could we need to understand why he was.
They weren't Hell Knights, were they?
I thought they were. Wasn't it Order of the Scourge or whatever?
Oh, that was holding him. Yeah.
Yeah. If we basically need to find out why he was set free, because if it was for a good reason, if we need to basically choose who we think we should give our allegiance to.
I imagine there was something that he did that upset the queen.
Yep.
And she had him taken, but I imagine there's something that either he was of value or she discovered something about why he was taken or whatever, and it wasn't, reasonable, I'm guessing. But
yeah.
it's the equivalent of the Gestapo took you, kept you for 2 years, and then they set you free and restored you,
right.
So that you were a member of, you're back to being an Uber commandant or whatever.
Yeah.
What? He's got some serious value if he wasn't taken up behind the woodshed,
Yeah. It just seems again, to your point, assuming there are no other options, we're forming allegiances with one of these two, and we kind of need to know which one is wisest to do that with.
Sure.
And we've got nothing but their own stories about shit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, she's almost certainly killed her husbands to get where she is. And he's probably done a ton of horrible things. This is a hellbound country, so probably he deserved getting taken, and probably he's useful, and that's why he got set free, not because he's a good person.
Yeah.
Who were we to judge somebody else's fucked up way of living?
You certainly not, you as a character, certainly not anyone to judge anyone.
He's an honorable servant of a god he barely cares about.
And the queen, and also I can play the violin, apparently.
He's a throw off. He's the thrown off, never gonna hear from your god again. Yeah, you served your purpose. I've thrown you out like an old hamburger wrapper. I've eaten a hamburger.
As a reminder, he literally didn't know he could pray in his head.
Ostensibly a prayer.
He literally asked if he could pray in his head to his god. That's the kind of anti-paladin he's playing.
Listen, I've never had to care about a god in this game, so...
It's true. I guess that's true. C1 San1, Michael.
But I fucking alright, bud.
Yeah, that video of Nicole is hilarious.
Oh yeah, Yana watches it like daily.
Dude, you really fucked up my day today with your C1 Send 1 yesterday.
I fucked up your day today with a C1 San1 last night.
Yes, because we went out to dinner and we had a normal amount of dinner beers, and then I did not C1 Send 1 to you, and then you were like giving me shit, so I had to go
out. You went out to
out
the bar, apparently. Yeah.
I went to the bar with a Russian person, and we got crushed until like 4 o'clock in the
You
morning.
didn't do that because I sent you a C1 Send 1, though.
I said I have to go get one beer, and whenever you go out with Dennis for one beer, you get many.
Russians don't drink one beer. That's not allowed.
Yeah, that's.
No,
I
they
mean,
don't.
that sounds like that's a poor choice on your part.
Well, I was just like, Dennis, I'm going to get a beer, and he was like, great, Mike, let me come with you. We'll get some beers.
Yes, no.
Is nice. As soon as Russians say, let's go get beers, you say, no, I don't drink with you.
No, he's a good drinking partner.
Yes. Oh, dude, before we get rolling, very quick story. This week, Yana was at the zoo with Clara and comes off this ramp where the buffaloes are and runs into, like, smack dab into another little girl who looks just like her. And they, like, parent trap each other and stare at each other for, like, 10 minutes. And they went on a play date on Thursday.
Aw.
Yeah.
They're buds now.
Yeah, apparently.
All right. So you guys continue the dinner, and Loredana makes polite conversation, asking more about Cantaria, not getting a whole lot out of you. But again, you're very obviously the most interesting people in the tavern to her. And as Nero or I think Iwin asked, like, what is everybody else's stories? She tells you some of them, but they're all thuggery. They're all like, that person, him and some others, they crushed a wandering patrol of glorious reclamation, and it's never anything comprehensive or interesting. Like they didn't convert towns, they didn't quash rebellions. They're all just like, they're thugs that are good at what they do. There's druids and barbarians and all kinds of things. They're good at killing, and they do what they're told, and but no one is nearly even close to as interesting or as like successful at what you've done as the party has been. And that's it. So it's dinner's over, and it's the nighttime. Anybody want to do anything else during the night?
No, Nero
What are
basically shares his information about the books and the building being trapped against teleportation.
That's correct, and I was surprised you asked that question.
Can Bob practice the violin to get better, or is that just not possible?
You can do it, but the way that ends up being in the actual mechanics of the game is you putting a skill rank in next level.
Understood.
You can't get better just now, just because you're doing it. But like you would basically be practicing in character, and then next level you put a skill rank in, and you mechanically get better.
Bob quietly practices and then tries to figure out where he's going to get a bow.
Okay. And again, there's lots of shops in town, so you could definitely find one. And you have a decent, like, your charisma is good enough that you're not terrible. Like, even if you rolled a 1, you'd have like a mediocre performance, not even like a terrible one. So just practicing, you're definitely gonna get better.
Okay.
He's gonna take a level of Bard. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen.
If he takes the level Bard amount,
I have a plan. I have a plan for this violin later.
I really hope you take a level of Bard. I will.
You have to take the dude.
I'll give you a magical violin if you take a level of Bard.
Like a +1 violin.
A +1 violin.
It's a flaming violin from
Bards are
Moloch.
charisma class. You've got a lot of charisma already. It's basically, it makes sense. Yeah, they can cast spells. They can cast arcane spells like you've always wanted to.
I do want to do that.
There you
Fuck
go.
not. You're gonna hate this character soon.
Oh my god, we're gonna have a bard.
You're gonna have a bard, anti-barded in.
I quit.
He's threatened to quit in my other group too. Like I was joking about remaking my character as a bard, and he's like, "Fine, so we'll all die and we'll get a new campaign. That'll be great. Thanks."
It's fine. You got
I know. Oh, I know what this thing's weakness is. Is there anything we can do against it? No.
But I'm gonna play my lute and make you do better in the fight, bro. It's fine. I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm just gonna keep...
As long as you do the jig while you're playing the song, it's okay.
Right.
So, in any event,
Yeah.
I don't know if we have time for it, but Nero basically relays that the building that he wanted to get into has some sort of ward against teleportation. I don't really know what. But you've looked into the building. I mean, if we can somehow get in from outdoors, we should be able to be in, be out, right?
Probably, yes. Hey, Joe, can you remind me when I looked in, how many guys were there in the book room?
In the book room, you saw 4 people actively like working over the texts. And Nero asked with his divinations, because he did like a binary search on the times, and basically figured out that like around like 1 in the morning, like they stop for the night, like so they're not there 24/7, but that the door is left open, and there's dozens of people in the like they converted a warehouse into a barracks basically, and there's dozens of people inside, including some archons and other things like that are like constantly on patrol. So there is a time where the room is mostly empty, but there are like guards around that might notice if you were in there doing things, especially if you were making noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, dozens of people.
Okay. If that's all true, I feel like there are ways that we can extract it. Yeah. I can think of a bunch of things, actually.
Delicious. Would you want to do that tonight, or are you waiting until tomorrow?
Tomorrow, because I burned all these spells healing these idiots.
Okay. Does anybody want to do anything else during the night before the next day?
So if we decide for sure we're going tomorrow, then I think Iwan would summon Maggie back so that she can witness it.
Okay. That's pretty much, you just cast a spell and it happens. Like, Maggie's not resisting you at all. AKA Boo is her new name.
Right.
Or pseudonym.
Boozy Bub.
Couldn't have planned it better, man.
Life is hilarious, isn't it? And Brexter's still hanging around, Bob. What are you doing with Brexter? Is he following you around? Like, when you're eating, is he hanging out with you? Or is he staying in your room? Or what are you telling Brexter to do? Because he can't just go back to hell when you're done with him.
You go to hell.
You go to hell when you die. What are you going to do with him?
I don't know.
Other people have, like, imps flying around with them, and there's that Druid of the Snake. So it's not uncommon. Like, you can definitely have your devil with you, but, again, Brexter, like, literally, like, he starts fire. He's a pyromaniac. So I don't know how much you want to have him around with you, but, like, having a devil on your shoulder or hanging out, like, standing next to you isn't the worst thing in the world.
I keep him on my shoulder like a parrot, I suppose.
Like a parrot. So I think he's small. I think he's, like, halfling-sized.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know if he could be on your shoulder, but he's hanging around.
I have seen photos of Mayhay riding on things.
That's true. You rode on the Paladin. You rode on Rodark. That's canon. There's a picture of it and everything. Yeah, so he's like hanging on your back every once in a while and just hanging out with you.
He's got to be careful about that fucking violin, though. I don't want him burning that up.
Yeah. So again, like in the picture, he has a fire stick, but he doesn't actually he doesn't have to carry. He can summon that on demand, basically, and he can also summon like fire in his hands and shoot it at things and stuff like that. And he can summon fire elementals as well. You remember he did that. He burned down the wooden prison that you guys were talking about. He just sent the fire elemental like, just drag your arm and walk across this thing, and he burned the whole thing down for you. Yeah, so he's around. And you summon Maggie. Maggie comes back, and again, she's not resisting you. Basically, you dismissed her and sent her back to do research.
Do more scouting.
Souls.
Yeah.
And she willingly comes back. When you summon her, she dutifully comes back, and she's very interested in knowing what's up and why you've summoned her, what you want her to do.
Oh, yeah, basically, like, we're gonna raid a Glorious Reclamation compound tomorrow, and I want you to bear witness to it. Get good shots, what we talked about. This will be your first go-around, but I think you'll have fun watching it, too.
She asks where. Where is this happening?
It's in Sonara.
And she seems excited about that. Like, ooh, ooh. And she's like, we're going to Sonara tomorrow?
Well, or the next day, depending on what you consider 1 a.m.
Fair enough. Yeah, so she seems excited, and she's like, yes, yes, of course. Is there anything you need from me?
In the meantime, no. Just to, relax, enjoy yourself. Yeah. I just wanted to have you ready for when we go.
Okay. She nods, and she says, I'll be ready whenever you need me. And yeah, so she's around. She's hanging around now. And unlike what was the other guy's name? Rosalago. She doesn't turn invisible all the time. Like she's hanging around, and unless you tell her to go invisible, she's visibly hanging around you.
It's fine.
And she's not like I want to say nefarious, but that's not the right word. Rosalago is definitely nefarious. But she's not like that. She's kind of quiet and contemplative, and she believes that you are like serving Asmodeus, and she's a dutiful servant of Asmodeus, and she believes that in working with you, she is serving him, and that's kind of why she was so eager to join you.
Makes sense.
All right. So unless anybody has anything else, you guys are going to rest for the night and then wake up tomorrow. And this is day 3 in Agorian now. And there's no breakfast or anything like that. There's a bar that's open basically all day. You can start drinking immediately if you're down with that. But there's no food served, so you have to find your own meals, provide for yourselves. What would you guys be interested in doing?
What do we need to prepare? I mean, I suppose you don't want to teleport everyone there and then have us be stuck. Should we be getting a scroll?
What do you mean? Why would we be stuck?
Well, you're going to use your best spells to get us in and out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dern comes up to you in the next day and is like, so what do you need me to do?
We're going to travel far away. We're going to raid a room full of books.
Okay, for the queen, right?
Yeah, for the queen.
We're gonna need some Zerk.
Vors is around in the morning. He's going to be busy all day. Like after dinner, like after Levesvia left, he basically explained to the party that he's got some research to do. He needs to kind of schmooze with nobility, and he's most interested in finding out like where his cousins are, what's going on. But he implies that everybody but Nero would basically make him would hold him back. So he's going to be going off today and doing his own thing. And just kind of schmoozing with nobility, he says. But he's there in the morning if you want him around, and he can give you Zerk without you having to go find drug dealers.
Sounds like a lot less fun.
I don't think
if you want to go looking for
Zerk.
drug dealers, we got time for you guys to do a drug dealer encounter. If that's what you want to do. Or maybe with Nero around, you might actually make a diplomacy check that's good enough to actually find drugs. But again, Vors is there if you want drugs.
No, we're taking Vors' drugs.
Fantastic.
We just also have to fight Vors.
When you want to fight Vors, you can fight Vors.
No, I'm joking.
But yeah, Vors will give you each like 2 bumps of Zerk. So he'll -4 bumps of Zerk for Vors because he's got at least 10 because the alchemist gave him 10. So yeah, so you guys have 2 bumps each. You can do one now if you want.
Dern, I'd advise against that.
Don't do the drugs.
Dern was about to do the drugs. Okay.
I'm gonna post Zerk in the Discord, but just reading it real quick. For an hour, you get a +1 alchemical bonus to your initiative. If you're addicted, you have to like voluntarily be addicted or fail your fortitude saves. You gain a bonus to strength. So if you're not addicted, you don't get the strength bonus. So you have to voluntarily fail the fortitude save to want to be addicted, or you have to fail it the old-fashioned way. If you make your fortitude save and pass it, you don't get the strength bonus at all. So you get a +1 to initiative. And if you want strength, let me know if you want to be addicted to Zerk. I've got to be more vigilant about making sure my brother who's addicted to Zerk is penalized when he's not doing Zerk.
Penalized, yes.
I can go to rehab anytime I want.
It's fine. It's not a problem. It's fine.
You are the one with the problem.
Yeah, I am in control of this situation. I just need some more fucking Zerk.
I need you all to get me more Zerk.
Yeah. All right. So you got 2 bumps of Zerk. Vorz gives that to you, and then he basically leaves. He tells you that he's going to be schmoozing with nobles, and hopefully he'll find something out about his cousins and have more information for the party later.
No, I noticed that Vorz is in the bedroom with Braxter. And
I just moved him away from the party, so if I need to take you somewhere, I can take you.
Okay, I'm just saying it's within character for him to be doing weird shit with demons. Devils.
They're devils.
Whatever.
Demons are chaotic evil.
They're interchangeable in my brain.
They are wrong. That's wrong.
Okay.
All right. So you guys presumably going to get breakfast somewhere and then head out? You guys going to prepare anything like Nas was asking?
Gents, need anything before we go?
I'm trying to think. I think I have everything I need. Of course, that's assuming that things are as I expect them to be.
They certainly are.
They probably are not. Yeah. Anything Nero suggests we bring that we might not be thinking of?
I mean, maybe something to align weapons. I'll get a couple of scrolls of align weapon, I suppose. Or maybe a scroll of communal align weapon. I think that's not too terribly expensive.
Any scroll that's like reasonably leveled is very much available in town. This is Metropolis, and even without Vorz's bonus, you can basically find anything that's not crazy expensive in town.
I get a scroll of miracle.
I want wishes. I want several scrolls of wish. I mean, they'd be ludicrously expensive. What does a 9th level scroll cost? 9th level scroll. It's not that bad. It's only like 4,000 gold. That's surprising.
It's more money than a goddamn peasant will make in his life.
I mean, that's true.
That's true.
What are you paying your people at your Chotch factory?
I don't have a Chotch factory, but I can guarantee you it's not going to be a lot.
You could also just buy halflings for 25 gold apiece and make them work.
No, they gotta. What am I gonna do? It's not like they're making food. I can't pay them with the product. They'll die.
No, you don't. You buy them and then you feed them whatever it is, whatever little they need to survive, and they literally have to work.
Is there a minimum wage in this kingdom?
I doubt it. But again, you can also own slaves. You don't pay slaves. You just own them. For 25
but I need to
feed them to mash.
I know. I need to take care of. This is like an operating cost that I need to take care of.
It's like a copper a day to feed somebody and.
Oh my god! I could pay them half that.
I don't think you could.
Can't mean swallow.
Anyway, I got a couple of scrolls of align weapon.
Okay.
I've already taken the cost out. Does anyone need anything else? Spells, potions, anything?
You have like resinous skin or something? What on me?
I don't have that spell. You will probably have to learn that spell yourself.
Yeah, how do you
Can I
know what
buy that?
resinous skin is, mister?
During the
An alchemist
spellcaster?
once.
He just knows things.
Sounds like he knows what Koob was casting in the other campaign.
That's true.
Can I buy a potion of it or something?
Is resinous skin low enough to have potions?
It's a 3rd level spell, but it's personal, so it can't be a potion. It would have to be a scroll.
Correct.
It is a Blood Rager spell, though.
Oh. Okay, how much is it?
3 times 5 times 25, 15 times 25 is just shy of 375 gold, right? Am I doing the math
I think
on
that's
that?
correct. I'm surprised you knew all the multipliers, but
Jesus.
yes, 3rd level is 375 gold. Well, it's a
Okay.
sorcerer spell, so it's more, right? Because it's not a.
Oh, yeah, Blood Ragers would be
So it's
different.
450 gold.
Okay.
But that was amazing that you knew all those multipliers off the top of your head.
He's got it.
Okay.
I had to do that for my alchemist like nonstop. So
Are you
you
going
buy
to
one?
buy a scroll of what'd you say it was? Resinous skin?
Yeah, yeah.
It's definitely around. Like there's tons of magic shops in town.
and it lasts a long time. So for you, it would last what 60 minutes, an hour.
Well, it's a scroll, right? So it's whatever the lowest level it is.
His lowest level would, well, I guess for Blood Rage, so it'd be the sorcerer, right?
Well, it's a Blood Rager spell too, so yeah, it's a sorcerer one. I guess it's the same.
So that'd be like 60 minutes.
Okay, so yeah, so an hour. That's pretty good.
Does it stack with my DR already?
It does not.
It does not stack. No.
Okay. All right,
What's your
whatever.
DR?
Plus
It's
five still
DR2
done. Yeah, DR2.
when you're raging.
Not all the time.
Oh, okay, cool.
You also have Ablative Barrier, so you can cast that beforehand
This
too.
fucking guy.
Do I have
He's
that
got
spell?
it. He's got that spell. He took that spell, man.
Oh, fuck that
Did I
shit.
take that spell?
Okay. Who are you, Coob? Are you just like a halfling Coob? Is that what this is about?
Kind of, yeah.
All right. Okay, so Iwan, describe where in Sonara or nearby Sonara you are teleporting to.
I presume that we want to teleport right to outside of the building where that room is, like outside the outside wall,
Okay.
right? Because we can't teleport in, so that would be where I'd want to go.
Okay, so I'm going to copy you, but in the meantime, I'm going to move you to this map. It might take a second to load, depending on if you have it cached. That's the city of Sonara. I'm using Bob as the party token still. That's the old party token from Sonara. And it's basically it's the building right here is what Nero divined where it was, and then and then I went around and kind of just touched all the walls to figure out what's going on. So you do successfully teleport. You've been here enough to know you've been through the High District. It's a very visible thing that Iwan remembers. So you need to make a D100 check. Roll a D100. And you are very familiar with this place. A 77 is on target. So yeah, so you snap into existence, just poof, and you're there, and you're exactly where you wanted to be. So you're now outside of this building. And again, it's a windowless warehouse with stone walls. There's only one entrance to the place, and you know that the main entrance is guarded.
Yeah.
And it's morning, but not early morning. It's pre-noon though, unless you guys made special preparations.
We weren't going to go in the evening,
Oh, you're gonna wait the whole day?
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So it's nighttime.
Okay. So yeah, we can gloss.
It's early morning.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. So if
That's
you
not a
want to
big
do
deal.
anything during the day, we can do it on Discord. But
Yeah, not big deal.
that's fine. We'll do it kind of later. But yeah, so you wait till nighttime and you poof into existence outside of this place. What would
Okay.
you like to do?
Do we see anything outside first?
You can all make perception checks if you like. Boom, 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 boom.
I'm getting there.
Ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Blah,
Thank God you can roll there.
blah. You rolled a 7. He's got a very good bonus.
Put a lot of points
Is
in.
that a class skill for Blood Ragers?
Yeah.
No, interesting.
Barbarians, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so you guys are kind of you appear near the thing, and yeah, Dern sees it. Everybody that rolled the 18s also sees it. Bob does not see it. There's like a small contingent of like two glorious reclamation soldiers, and you see an elf archer. Very clearly, an elf archer is with them, and that's not normal. You guys don't remember that from your time in Sonara. There weren't a whole lot of elves in the glorious reclamation. There were a couple, especially half elves, but this is a distinctly elf archer with the group.
Where are they? On the street?
They're on the street, moving not towards you, but it seems like, based on your perception checks, you know that they seem to be patrolling around this building.
Okay. um, so let's try to do what we need to do quickly then. So Iwan will throw her glove, like basically put both her gloved hands onto the wall and peek into the room and see what's there.
All right. So Iwan has already previously scouted this place. I've dragged you to another map. Let me know when it finishes loading.
Oh, we got tunes? Got war tunes, Joe?
Dun, 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 dun.
I
Dun,
don't
dun,
have.
dun, dun.
I don't have a thing for this. Let me see if I have a war tune.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. I don't know. I didn't play any music. Dun 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 dun. I mean, you're not even really in a battle, but I'm playing the music.
God.
It's like 2 chapters ago.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. So I assume the map is loaded for you guys now.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So again, Iwan has already scouted this place out. So you see the entire insides. And this big room over here, again, this is like a warehouse that they basically converted into a barracks. So they have all these simple cots they've set up, like along with all these boxes and stuff like that. And there are like dozens of soldiers sleeping in here, presumably, and whatever. You also know that there are 2 side rooms. This room is basically just full of goods with no beds in it. And this is the room that was interesting to Iwan. This is the room where it has Fex's notes and where the scribes are kind of working on a daily basis. This door is always left open as far as you guys are aware. And also, Iwan would have known over here is like the main entrance to the place. There is purposely placed rubble and wood, basically kind of making it a narrow entrance. So you guys, they basically plan that if someone's going to break in, they're going to have to fight their way through a narrow corridor. And that's kind of what they've set up as their defenses. You also know that there's usually guards over here at the front door. And what you see now, like you guys are kind of hiding over here at this end of it because you teleported near where you needed to be. And you have seen that there are an elf and 2 guards that have moved north slowly. And they're not especially vigilant looking, but they're definitely like, they're on a patrol. You can kind of tell that they're here for a reason.
Okay. So I see nobody inside the room. Just the door
so you
open.
put your gloves of reconnaissance up, and you see no one. Let me see. Let me roll a dice. Where my dice is at? My dice is. Yeah. So you see nobody inside at all.
Okay. So Iwan will cast Open Close and try to very slowly close the door.
Does open close allow you to very slowly close doors?
I don't know.
See.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Great use of magic. Okay, the door is less than 30 pounds. That's cool. You can open or close a door. Blah, blah, blah. If anything resists the activity, the spell fails. Nope, doesn't. In addition, the spell can only open. It doesn't say anything about being quiet, but that's fine. So we'll just make a perception check on people inside. So let's see how quietly you can do it. And I'm gonna.
Should I roll something?
I guess roll a stealth check. We'll say that you finesse the magic and use your stealthiness.
Okay.
Why not?
It's probably not that great of a roll for me anyway, so we'll give it a go.
Perception check.
Ooh. Pretty good.
That's very good. And sleeping people have a huge penalty to that.
And you're little. And the door is little. It's a little door.
Little people.
It's
Yeah.
true. Everything you've said is true. And yep. Okay, so the door closes, Iwan. And as far as you can tell, no one has reacted. And the door is now closed.
Okay. The next thing that she will do, because these gloves only work for 3 total minutes, so I assume that the first minute was spent looking, the second minute was closing the door.
Sure.
The third minute is going to be, well, what's the grid size here? Let me see. Oh, each of these blocks is a grid. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still okay. The next minute is going to be spent establishing a pit right here.
It only takes like 6 seconds to do a pitch. So you have to spend like a whole minute doing it. But yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, whatever. And the save for the pit is a function of its spell level, right?
Yes, spell level and your casting stat, which I think for you is
Okay.
intelligence, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So let's make it an acid pit then.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So you're summoning an acid pit there.
Yeah, basically like behind the door, so so it's not visible like from the other side of the door that there's a pit there. Like however, you know what I mean?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, and now I'll stone shape open a hole in the wall.
Yeah, you do that. And I read the stone shape spell, and I agree with Nas. I don't think there's anything that stops it from working. This is a stone wall. You can stone shape it, and I'm pretty sure you're casting it yourself or from the wand.
I don't know the significance of the answer to the question.
The wand you don't have to speak. The wand you can be quiet.
The wand you can be quiet, and the variables are basically not your caster level, but the caster level of the wand, which is still a 4th level caster level. So the amount of stone you could shift would be lower from the wand, but it's still going to be like
Plenty.
60 feet, 60 cubic feet. You see, yeah. So, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So the answer is the wand.
Yeah, the wand. Yeah.
Okay, so you basically say a command word. You say Alakazam, and you touch the wand to the wall, and you can shape 60 cubic feet of wall.
So I can just open a hole in it, basically.
Correct.
For
And
us.
basically, as effectively as big as you want. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So let's do it.
Okay. You do that. There's a hole in the wall now.
Okay. So let's go get the books quickly. Got the bag of holding. Just dump everything in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maggie is dutifully watching you, and you walk inside, and you can tell that there's a big pile of books over here. And a bunch of the books match the description of what Nero had seen in his vision when he did his legend lore over there. And there's also a bunch of just notes and papers kind of scrawled all over the place. So in addition to just studying the books, the scribes are apparently looking for something and taking notes on what they found and leaving the notes there.
So, assuming that no one is going to stop, Nero's just going to start bagging up notes. Bagging up notes, bagging up books, bagging it all.
Okay. What is everybody else doing? Nero's walking in. Ion, what are you doing?
Probably, let's see. I would imagine probably readying a spell and watching the door.
Okay. Mr. Dern, what are you doing?
I'll ask them, do you want me in there?
Yes, get in there. Get in here. Stay away from the pit, though.
Okay. And he'll get in and stealth around quietly, helping with the books.
All right. Bobbert, what are you doing?
I guess I'll get in. And try to be quiet.
All right. And Maggie's floating around Iowa and just kind of watching everything that's going on here. Nero, you begin like closing the books quietly and trying to basically get them all into your magic bag. As you're doing it, you see on the top, like over here, like basically to the side of one of the book's open to a page, and you kind of just glimpse briefly that there is some sort of binding logic, some sort of magical binding stuff on the page, and there is a page next to it that has a big circle drawn around 2 infernal runes, and you immediately identify that one of them is Visperthul's rune. Like, it's the one you've seen a lot in the past, and the other one is one you don't recall at all. And there's a big circle around it, and there's notes, like, hurriedly written on the side of it.
Okay. Nero will bag it up.
Okay. Alright, you toss it in the bag, and everybody inside make a stealth check.
It ain't gonna be
Oh God,
good.
Bob.
Wow, Bob.
job, Bobbert.
Yeah, darn.
Yeah. Wow, Dern with a 30 fucking 3. But the thing about stealth checks is the lowest one is what matters. So yeah, so Nero
Clang.
makes a bunch of noise. Nero's chain shirt is clanking as he's moving books into the bag. But it doesn't much matter. So the door flies open, and there is a Hound Archon on the other side. He heard your noise. He runs over to the door, and he sees you doing this. But you've already had enough time. You've already started shoveling the books in. You only need one more round to do it. And he sees this, and he sees the giant pit, and he stops for a second, and he roars. He begins barking. So again, he's like a humanoid dog, and he just begins barking at you. And then he tries to teleport. No, he's not going to do that. Because he knows. So yeah, he has to try to jump. He's going to try to jump. So he is going to try to jump like this. He's going to... I guess he has to jump like that. With a 10-foot jump, I don't think
So can my spell go off?
Oh, sure. What did you ready?
I readied some grease.
Oh, good. What did you... So you're going to grease the floor on him, or what?
I'm going to grease the floor next to the pit, yeah.
Okay, cool. Fantastic.
Brutal. Does he fall in?
Well, we'll see. He makes an acrobatics check, or is it reflex or acrobatics?
I don't know. Oh, that floor or this floor?
Yeah, where are you greasing?
No, like,
Outside, yeah.
Where he's jumping? Oh, that's mean. Where he's jumping is going to be grease, so he's going to jump
Yeah.
into grease.
Fantastic.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Even better. All right. So first
Oh,
off,
not-
let's see if he can make it.
do it so that it's, like, over the pit, too.
Okay. So the pit is greasy.
Like
Not-
the
not
pit ledge needs the
Yeah.
grease.
Yeah.
That's
Right, exactly.
Fair
yeah.
point. Okay.
That's true.
So first off, let's see. I'm gonna take a drink before I roll this acrobatics. Can he even jump that far? Yes. Okay. Fine. He made a long jump.
yeah.
He's fine. He lands, and he lands, and his feet immediately begin to skid out from under him. And I believe he needs to make a reflex save.
Yeah, reflex save or fall.
Okay, so he's going to make a reflex save. A 7 is not going to do it. So he immediately falls prone, and I'm not even going to say he doesn't even get another check. He's falling into the pit. Like, he falls prone next to the edge of the pit that's already greased. He's done. So yeah, I'm going to do the prone thing, and he's going to fall down. How deep is the acid pit?
Let's see. Actually, I don't know if I have
It's
a
10
macro for
feet
that
per
one.
level, or per X levels?
Oh my god.
I think it's
100 feet.
per... I don't
Hang on.
remember.
I'm on it.
Look at
It takes a d6 for every 10 feet you can find. So.
10 feet per 2 levels.
And you're a 10, so it's 50 feet deep. So he takes 5d6 damage. I'll roll that. 5d6. He takes 20 damage falling, and I assume there's acid at the bottom, because that's what it's called.
There is.
2d6 of acid damage per round spent in contact with the acid.
Okay, we'll say he takes some of that immediately. So here's 2d6 for you. Another 6. And he's now prone in a thing of acid. So he barked and alerted the others, but all of you get to go a whole round. So what would you do in the meantime? Nero, I assume, is still shoveling books into his bag. He needs the whole turn to do it, so you guys have one more round to prepare for whatever happens next.
let's bump that Zerk, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm gonna bump that Zerk.
Okay. So the shit's hitting the fan. A Hound Archon has fell into a pit of acid, and you're both snorting drunks in the room.
And I'll blood rage too as I do it at the same moment. Like as I finish it,
God,
it'll
your
turn
note's
into,
gonna
like,
get so much bigger. It's gonna be awesome.
So you hear a bunch of shouting in the other room, and
Well, hold on. Let's remember that he's got to get addicted to this bullshit.
are you voluntarily
I don't-
failing the fort save? Like, you feel this drug
No,
running
not-
through you. Are you voluntarily letting it?
not my first.
Okay, then
not
make
my
a fortitude save.
Yeah.
See how you resist the drug. It's coursing through your veins.
Save.
I hope I don't get addicted to drugs.
Is he?
Do I get my blood rage bonus?
Well, yeah. If you get a blood rage one, yeah, you made it. You're fine.
God damn it!
You're not addicted, so you get a +1.
Who gets
initiative.
addicted on their first time?
I mean, some people.
People that want to use the drug.
He can cast spells, as can you if you ever wanted to cast spells. You know,
Yeah, when I'm a bard, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
you could
Yeah,
cast
every
full
day.
strength right now, though.
Oh, I could cast Vol Strength right now. That
You're not. I don't think you're gonna need to. I think you should all just hold on to your spells. And
Yeah,
drugs.
yeah.
So you hear a lot of shouting, and there's like a lot of it is tired shouting. You see one guard appear in the window, and you also see a lion man
Oh my god.
up here. And the Lion Man can move, and he can try to jump too.
Let's go, bud.
The Lion Man is going to try
Yeah.
to jump over. He doesn't know this grease, so he's going to try to jump over here.
Can I try to like push him? As he
On your
jumps?
turn, you can. Yes.
You have reach, dude.
Oh, good. Do you?
I do have 10-foot reach.
You can't make it. Can you make a push as an attack opportunity?
I don't know, but
I don't think so. You can
I don't
smack
know.
him on the way.
Doesn't
in.
matter.
He's jumping in, and we'll say he jumps to there.
Sure, I'll smack him.
Oh, go ahead. So you get a smack.
18.
That is a miss.
does that have your
27.
bonuses from Blood Rage on it?
Oh no, I didn't turn it on. Sorry.
It's still
So
going
it's
to be a miss.
a +2 to hit and a +2 more from his Furious Falchion. So +4.
But that is still a miss.
That's fine.
But go ahead and fix your sheet or resync.
Yeah.
He lands and he needs to make a reflex save against the grease. Thank God. And in addition, when he jumps, he doesn't just jump. He actually does like a twirl. He actually does like a roll. And you watch as he lands there and kind of closes the distance. And as he does, he's wearing these pauldrons, these shoulder pads that have lions on them. In addition to being a literal lion person, he has these shoulder pads that have lions on them. And you watch as he rolls past you, Dern, the shoulder pad actually reaches out and bites at you. Like, so one of the shoulders animates as he rolls past you and bites you. And if you touch attack,
Wow.
Well,
and he
It's a
hits you
big hit.
for 9. Yeah, I didn't crit that.
what kind of damage is that?
Great question.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's actually biting him.
I think it's piercing, but I will look it up.
If it's piercing, it beats Resonant Skin, but he'll take 5 of that as non-lethal.
It's piercing damage. Okay,
Okay. So he takes 5 is non-lethal for regular.
so he heals.
I get my HP when I blood rage, right?
Yes, just turn it all the way up.
Your max wouldn't have done it, so let's fix that. There you go. So he heal you. He hits you for 4 and 5 non-lethal. I don't have that cool macro that Nate has, so I'm gonna have to.
I'll just put it on.
Okay.
I have a counter going.
Okay. You go ahead and handle it.
Yeah.
So again, he basically ran up and his pauldrons, just by twirling near you, attacked you, and he kind of gets in a defensive position. He's not attacking anybody, but he's in a defensive position now. And I guess I should actually roll initiative now for everybody else.
Do I know what he is?
You can make a knowledge check if you want to do that. Anybody can make a knowledge check.
I can make a knowledge check.
Yeah.
You can make one.
He
You won't
won,
make
He
one.
won initiative, but I'll assume that was his turn because I don't want him to go again.
I got a +1 there, and so does my heroin addiction.
You have a +1 from what?
My alchemy bonus to
To
alchemical.
to initiative. I think meant to your knowledge. Like I'm like, what are you trying to do?
No.
So you have an 11, which doesn't move you up anything.
Yeah, I know.
Dern has
I also get a
21,
+1.
which doesn't move him up anything, so it's fine. Everything's still in order.
Bitch.
Shit.
Okay, so you guys want to know what he is.
I found the button
This
amongst
is
the
a
squares.
plains check. Iwan rolled well. Nero rolled Nero. Bob does not know what it is, and Dern does not know what it is. Do you have any specific questions, or you just want to know a bit about him? What do you?
What it is, strengths and weaknesses, can Bob smite it?
You know that this is a. If I could spell, that'd be great. It's a Leoninal Agiathon. How do you pronounce that?
So yes.
The answer is yes. He can smite it. So basically,
Bob.
the Agathians or Agathians, however you pronounce that word, I don't know. They are a chaotic good group of animal-themed outsiders. Like there's bird people, there's lion people, there's bear people. There's you actually encountered one in the Valor's Fastness. You encountered a Volpinal one, a fox creature. There was a fox man in there that was begging with you to spare the people in the chapel. A lot of the citizens that were loyal to Iomedae at the time had retreated to the chapel. And as you were slaughtering people in the Fastness, he pleaded with you, like, please let me take these people out. These people want no part of this. And Nero and the rest of the party agreed to let them go. So that was a fox person. This is a lion person. And lion people are significantly more powerful. But they are good. You do believe he can be smoked. They have damage reduction. You need to have silver weapons to attack them normally. They are immune to electricity and petrification. They are resistant to cold and sonic. They have spell resistance, a fairly high spell resistance. They have kind of lion abilities. They have, like, they can pounce, they can rake, they can roar, which intimidates people. That's pretty much all you know about them.
Okay.
They're very powerful melee fighters. And the Hound Archon.
Presumably,
Yeah.
presumably he has to make another reflex save because he ended his turn next to the pit, right?
Yes, on his turn, we'll say, because I basically counted that as his turn. Like, I'm skipping him now in the
Got it.
initiative. So on his turn, he'll make another
Okay.
one. The Hound Archon goes, and I'll just do 2d6 for him now. Oops, I rolled that secretly, so I'll pop it so you can see it. 10. Oof. Okay, so he takes 10 acid damage, and he's going to try to climb. Oh, he can't teleport.
He's screwed, man.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. He's going to try to climb. That's all I can do. 19. What's my the climb?
30.
30? Are you
30,
kidding
dude.
me? So yeah,
Nope.
so he doesn't make any progress, and he'll probably die in his next turn. Dern of How's Dern.
Dern of Dern.
You're near.
I'll
you're
5
near
foot
Greece.
step.
You're fine. Okay, yeah, Maggie, you can be next to Maggie. She's
Can I? Yeah.
Yeah, she's in the air. I'll move her back here.
Why
Okay.
are you moving now?
I hit this guy.
You're in a flank.
Yeah, you were in a flank over here where you were.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's
I'll
true.
definitely keep my flank then. And I'll hit this guy.
All right, cool.
No.
You rolled a 1. I don't have crit fails.
Second one's a 20 though.
That's crazy.
Okay, so go ahead and mash the same button. Basically, we'll use the second roll to see if you confirm the crit. You do not, even with the flank. That has all your bonuses in now, right?
Yeah.
Does it have the +2 from your Furious Falchion?
Yeah, I think I put it in there.
Confirm
You
that.
didn't have it last time. That's why I
It's
asked.
not a crit anyway. Please do confirm that. It's not
Because it'd be +4. So it'd be 26.
a
I
plus
don't know.
4.
That-
A +4 with the flank would be a hit. So yes, confirm that.
No, I put the 2 in the enhancement column. Do I have to put 4?
The 2 from the Furious
that 2
Falchion, you
doesn't
get an
do it.
extra 2 from it being Furious. So it's not in there, Joe.
No.
The whole 4 isn't in there because the +2 is probably in there, right?
The +2 is in there. The other +2 isn't in there, and he gets another +2 from the flank. So it's +4 to that roll.
Okay, so that's still a miss. Okay, I thought he had a +4.
I don't even think the 2 is in there.
So it's a 26 is his roll.
A 26
Yeah, the
is
two's
a
not in
miss.
there,
If
then.
he's saying the +2 from the weapon itself is not in there, it's a hit.
No, it wasn't.
So I need to know. Is that confirmed? It's not in there?
No, it wasn't.
I don't know.
Sorry.
What's
I'll tell you what I did. In the enhancement column, I put the 2,
Yes.
but I just realized that if you look at the notes of enhancement, 2 doesn't represent a +2. You actually have to put it in MA, I think.
No, I'm pretty sure
No.
enhancement does.
no enhancement does
Yeah,
it.
it
So
does.
you miss. So you don't crit, but you do hit him.
You do hit, and you hit for 26 damage. And this is not a silver weapon, I assume.
No.
Okay, then he takes 16 damage. And Iwan of House Iwan, you're up.
Do your intimidate.
What?
Oh yeah, I got.
Oh, you have that too? Fantastic.
Still have that too.
And he has critical focus, so he gets a +4 to confirm crits. Jesus, Shrad, come on, man.
Oh, you have
But I
that.
don't know all your numbers.
Then you do
+4 to
crit.
confirm crit.
Then you do crit, and you do another 24 damage.
Yeah.
Definitely remember that. That's very important.
And that's my.
You made this character. Come on, brother.
It's his
I
first
missed
time.
that little
It's his
bonus.
first time not fighting a drug dealer that doesn't have drugs.
Yeah.
Is Brexter with me right now?
Did you want to bring him?
It's fine if he's not. It's fine.
Well, I didn't
also-
bring him, but if you you can have him. That intimidate check of 31 is
Yeah, I feel like I must have hit it right.
his DC is 10 plus his hit dice plus his wisdom. 10 plus where's my hit dice at? 14 is 24, and his wisdom is a +2. So a 26. Yeah, you intimidate. He's afraid. He is shaken. And he's shaken by more than 5, by exactly 5. So he's shaken for 2 rounds.
Nice.
And I'll put that on. All right. Robert Zabub.
That's not me.
I know, it's Robert
So
Zabub.
I go, I think, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, sorry.
So what is your ruling on whether or not she can do her poofy thing?
Without being attacked, I mean?
That thing.
It's,
Well, no, not without. No, it won't provoke. But I'm saying like, does the teleport thing prevent it?
well, the real question is, does Iwan think it does?
Well, I'm gonna try to do it. So you just tell me if it works.
Oh, you're
or not.
doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, it definitely applies. So you're trying to dimensional slide.
Where are
Yeah.
you trying to go? Outside?
No, just to a different square where I'm not threatened.
Iwan disappears.
God damn it, Iwan.
And then Azimag Boozabub goes. And she watches as Iwan disappears, and she looks around trying to find where you were. And she's kind of afraid of this lion man. She's kind of in his range, so she's just going to sit there and act helpless and defensive and hope that doesn't hit her. What are you doing, Nero?
Do I know what happened to Iwan?
Make a spellcraft check as well.
Sure.
When Dern was swinging before, did we account for the fact that we're in a flank?
Yes, we accounted for that,
Yeah.
and it's because of his critical feat.
Okay, yeah, okay.
That was a crit, yeah. You can make a spellcraft check, sir.
Sorry, I'm looking for it. My fault.
It's all good.
Pretty poor.
Yeah, is that actually... Yeah, you don't know what that was. You have no idea. You're not sure what's going on here.
Okay.
Robert the Zubert.
Well, I guess I wish to smite this person. Thing.
You're gonna smite. Okay, that's a swift action to smite.
Okay.
Now, then what?
Then I wish to swing my hammer in the general direction of this lion.
Okay, you can make a full attack if you use your... Yeah, okay. So you have... What does smite do?
Makes it easier to hit.
Okay. You add your charisma to hit. What's your charisma bonus?
My charisma bonus, of course, is hit. Is it a 4?
Okay,
Yeah.
so you get a +4 to hit, and you add your paladin level to damage. And Nas, what creatures does it double against?
Good outsiders, paladins, and good dragons.
Well, it's a good outsider. So you get double your. Whoops, sorry. You
Yeah,
get
what are you doing?
I'm messing up, is what I'm doing. Yeah, so your first one's a hit, your second one's a miss. So you deal 17 damage plus your anti-paladin level, which is 10, which is 27 damage. And you double it, so it's now 37 damage. And you ignore damage reduction. So you deal the full 37 damage
Plus 6.
plus 6 fire damage.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and he has no problem with fire damage, or no resistance on it, so he takes full 6.
And then you gotta put him in the smoke. And then I get to intimidate him.
Oh god.
Go ahead, yeah. Yeah, he's
smoke
intimidated,
it,
and he's intimidated for another 3 rounds, so he's gonna be intimidated for 5 rounds total now. Just adding
The
that.
smoke's a DC 16 fort.
Yeah, he's fine with that.
Yeah, probably.
He's in defense up, but that still doesn't matter for him. Okay. Nero, of House Nero.
Nero keeps bagging books. Just ignores the guy.
Yeah, so you finish now. Like at the start of your turn, you're basically finished. And yeah, so you grab the last piece of paper and you shout to the others that you're done. And the lion doesn't attack you as you're doing that.
Can I get outside?
Yeah,
Like
there's
the
a
whole-
door here. I should draw.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I had to move up and then. Yeah.
Yeah, that door is gone.
Okay, so Nero will withdraw into the street. He says, "I'm done," and withdraws into the street.
Alright. The Lion Man goes, and he's being attacked by Dern and by Bob. Bob hurt him more, so I'm going to say a 1 or 2 is Bob, and a 3 is Dern.
He also has to see if he falls in the pit.
Oh, fair point. Okay, reflex
On
save
that
first.
pit, sir.
No.
Hmm.
And
I don't know.
he chose Dern for whatever reason. He's mad at the halfling more than the Bob, and he's just gonna unload on you, buddy.
Bring it.
Well, first he's gonna do a he's gonna touch himself and heal himself
Goddamn
for
degenerate.
Ooh, Paladin.
yeah for 32 hits.
What does Intimidate do? Make him weaker?
He has a -2 to all his d20s effectively. I don't think might do damage too. I'll check. But let's see if these hit. So you have a 29 AC. So it is a miss, and a miss. So I don't even need to check.
Just D20s.
Yeah. All right. So he claws at you and bites
fine.
at you, and just misses, and then he's gonna 5-foot step away from the pit because he's pretty sure he's not gonna fall, but he's not certain. So he's gonna go there and try to block the door. He'll go there actually. Good point. Block the door. The Hound Archon goes. He takes 2d6 damage. What up? 8. Yeah, that's enough. So he falls unconscious in the pit of acid and will die. I'll just mash the die button now. Because-
Does he like drown in the acid while falling?
Yeah, like
unconscious?
he's completely submerged in the acid and will continue to melt over the next couple rounds.
Interesting.
Dern.
Dern has Dern. Can I just shove through him or no?
You want to run past him? You got to make an acrobatics check or an overrun combat maneuver. You can push him forward with a bull rush. You can run through him with an overrun,
Or you can hit him.
or you can
Yeah,
just
or
smack
you-
the crap out of him.
Pretend he's
Yeah.
a drug dealer and
Yeah, I'll pretend he's a drug dealer and step in. I'll 5-foot step and hit him.
as one
What's
does.
this? Yeah. What's this black stuff, by the way?
That's a smoke that Bob makes. When Bob hits with his
Okay.
hammer, he does smoke. So you 5
31.
and that's a hit and a miss. You
A
have a plus
crit?
2 to that. Is that a crit? No, it's a 16.
Don't I crit?
He rolled a
crit
16. He's got a Fury. It's keen.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm 15 to 20.
Okay, then yes.
That was someone nods his help there.
That's a threat. Not
Uh,
confirmed though, but yes. So you did.
Plus 4.
I added
but
my
no.
bonuses.
Plus 4.
No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
you-
put them in already.
No, the confirmed crit thing is a plus 4.
Your
Yeah,
keen, your Furious is not in there because it was 15 last round as well. But don't worry about it. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
so
even
plus
with a
6.
plus 6, that's still not a crit. So
Yeah.
you do hit for 27. He takes 17 of it.
Bro, I'm sinking.
Bruh. I win. Oh, you're not here.
Bro.
Where am I? Yeah.
I'm taking you off initiative. You're in a different place. Bob, Zabub.
Yeah, boy.
He is going, or she is going to she can't get out though. She's gonna withdraw. She doesn't want to be close to this thing, and she's just watching. Robert, the Zubert.
I'm going to step on in.
Yeah.
Right foot this time. And then I suppose I'm just going to do the thing again.
Okay. And you have a plus 4 to hit, so those are both hits. And you have a
Yes.
plus 10 to damage, and you ignore DR. So 32
And I actually hit twice that time?
and 20. You did hit twice, yes.
Alright.
And 7. He is still standing.
Hold on.
And he is intimidated, so his
That is a
Wow.
that is a crit on the intimidate. So
Critimidate.
a crit to
yeah, does that mean something or?
I don't think so. Can you make somebody frightened, Nas, with intimidate?
No, you can't. It specifically says so. An Intimidated can't increase them past that
Yeah, so he's just gonna be intimidated for 8 total rounds after still.
until he's dead.
Yeah, until he's dead. Nero of House Nero. You watch the Lion Man is blocking the doorway.
Shoot him.
What are these guys? Do I see them doing anything? These guys here?
What guys? Oh, I completely forgot about them. No, forget it. They're not there. I don't care.
Sweet, that's fine. Nero is just going to. Nero will cast Blessing of Fervor when he can get everyone in sight. Cast Blessing of Fervor.
All right,
and,
you all have
that's
like,
it.
fake haste.
Yeah, fake haste, extra attack.
Lion Man is going to do that heal on himself again as a swift action, which doesn't provoke, for 24 hit points.
Oh,
He's going to
Not enough, Tigerman.
He's gonna 5-foot step out of here, and he's gonna cast a spell on himself. So Bob, you get a chance to hit him. So make an attack. He has a bit of cover, but go ahead and make your attack. Oh fuck you! You rolled a 20. Fuck you. Roll no, roll the attack again because you could.
Oh,
You could
oh.
crit.
Do I get an attack?
No, he 5 foot stepped away from you, and Bob is still within range of him. Oh, you have reach. So yeah,
I have tempo reach, yeah.
You do too, but Bob crit him. So hold on. Bob
I
crit
don't
him,
think I hit him with that.
and so 19, 17, and 22.
And then I get another
30
fire, right?
No, the fire doesn't multiply.
Stupid.
36, 58, plus the smite multiplies. So that's 88.
I didn't know that.
And the 5. And you take him to negative 57 damage. So he was
Jesus.
casting heal, which is like a plus 150, 140 hit points for him. But you killed him before he got a chance to do it.
Crushed his skull.
Yeah, so he retreated and was trying to heal himself, basically get back to full, and you murdered him. And as you're doing this, you hear a lot of noise going on in the other room, and people are coming up, and you watch as they notice that there's a pit, and some people like show up, they're even like unarmed, or they're just grabbing whatever they can. But they know they can't make it over this pit. Like they're not as agile as the Hound Archon or the Lion person was, and they're shouting for people to go around, like go out, find them, they're around here.
Let's get Brexter here. Let's burn this place down.
It's stone, it's not wood.
The floor looks like wood. That was
Yes, but I described the building as stone.
it's a bad texture.
There's also windows, and it's supposed to be a windows building. I apologize.
You get a good backdraft.
It's fine.
I'll work
It's
on it.
fine. It's perfect.
So what's the plan now?
All right, I'm booking it out of here.
Well, I mean, I don't know where Iwin is.
That is correct.
She's not even in front of us?
Iwin is missing. She vanished.
There's so much
geez,
flammable
man.
shit in here.
Yes, if you sent Brexter into those wooden boxes, he could catch them on fire. That's correct. But the walls are not made of wood.
I'll run outside and I guess I can't smell around. I'll just look around.
You can't smell it.
Is this the only entrance to the building right here?
Well, I mean, you made an entrance there. That's not even a normal entrance.
Uh-oh.
The main entrance, I'll zoom out,
Oh, it's over here.
is over here. And Iwin made a door over here.
Alright, never mind. There's no point in burning anything down then.
So we're all super fast for 10 rounds, so Nero's just gonna book it to somewhere we're safe. I would assume that somewhere where Iwin would know to go.
Okay. So I'm going to just hop back to the Sonara map real quick. So,
Probably where we entered, right?
so you're here. Vex's townhouse is here, but I believe you've done divinations and you know that there are Glorious Reclamations stationed there now. And Blissey said she was in a like a halfway house somewhere in the Low District. Basically, they kicked out all the slaves that were living there, or the halfling slaves that were living there, the servants, and that she's in a halfway house in the Low District somewhere, or here somewhere. So, what is your plan? Where would you go?
I mean, book it toward the Low District and see where we get to, I guess.
Okay. You're definitely fast enough that the Glorious Reclamation won't catch you. And eventually you can sneak down an alleyway and basically disappear. So the party's going to head vaguely towards the Low District.
A couple of 2-3 rounds into this, Iwin doesn't appear.
No.
Shit.
Where did she go? Dern would ask you. Dern would say, "What the hell happened, dude? Isn't that our escape?"
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I knew the building was warded. I don't know what the ward does. Maybe it shifted or somewhere.
And Dern is because he's blood raged, he's a lot meaner. And he's like, "Wait, what the hell? What kind of plan is this? What kind of crap do you put us into?"
I don't know.
And
I don't know that we'd go to the whole way to the Low District. We've got to figure out where she is. I guess we keep going. Yeah. Yeah, just send us to the low district.
Okay, you keep going until what? Like, are you waiting for something specific or doing?
No,
something
just
specific?
until we're sort of out of a place where we're going to run into a regular patrol.
I mean, you're definitely fast
The
enough
popo.
to get away from the people that are actively following you. And as you're moving around, Nero, everybody can make a perception check. Let me move back to the other.
Oh shit! I should have scooped up stuff offline, man. Oh well.
Off Lion Man, should have looted Lion Man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go pee real quick.
Think you had good
Perception
loot?
check.
You think you had
Hey,
good loot?
Jeff.
Let's
Sorry, fellas.
let's just take the loot.
Wait, what? What happens? I don't understand. It's the Arcanist thing?
He has this ability to slide between, like, basically he tears open reality and can jump like
Yeah.
a certain number of feet a certain number of times a day, and it's not an impressive distance, but it's like
Yeah.
almost free to him because he can do it so often.
It's pretty impressive. I can go like 100 feet.
Yeah. But the building's somehow warded, and I'm assuming he's in a jail cell somewhere,
Huh.
which is irritating.
I
to say the
mean-
least.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, this has gotten juicy.
Okay, perception checks. Bob got a 17. Durin got a 31. Did Nero roll?
Sorry, perception.
Yes.
Yes. No.
Yes. No.
So, hey Joe,
Yes.
just to be clear, like I'm not in a position where anything like sending or teleportation or any of that stuff would have any effect.
Correct.
Okay.
We'll get to where you are. There's probably enough time to do it. But yeah. So while you're somewhere else and none of those things help at all. Nero and both Nero and Bob, you notice as you're walking through the town, there are notably less Glorious Reclamation patrols around than you had seen just 3 days ago when you left Sonara. I guess it's a little longer for more of you, like because Iwin and Vors were around even more recently, but like you're weeks ago for you or whatever.
Less than their reports.
There are significantly less Glorious Reclamation, and you even move near some of the areas of the walls. Like you don't get too close because you're not looking to be spotted, but you notice on the ramparts there are fewer guards in town, and you run into fewer patrols, and you kind of move very easily, especially once you get to the low district. There's barely any Glorious Reclamation patrols.
All right.
All right. You guys want to do anything else? So you're basically going to just go to ground. You're going to try to find some place to survive.
Yeah, for a little while at least, until we figure out.
Where's our friend?
If Iwin obviously doesn't show up, I think we're going to do some stuff. But, in the immediate future, yeah, figure out what Iwin's doing.
Okay, so Iwin doesn't show up. We'll just say for the next hour, Iwin does not show up. Like you get away and you spend like 20 minutes running away, and then 40 more minutes, like nothing happens. Like Iwin does not show up. Would you look for a tavern or an inn to?
Yeah, someplace to hide out for a little bit, but
Okay. So we'll do that. While that's happening, I'll close that. I have way too many tabs open.
You're torturing our poor Iwin, aren't you?
I'm not torture. The Glorious Reclamation would never torture a gnome. I don't know what you're talking about. So, Iwin, when you casted your teleport spell, or when you did your dimension door, I should say, something felt wrong to you. Oh, there's a fucking save, isn't there? I forgot to make you make the save. I'm gonna have to make you make a save now, so let me check what the save actually is. You need to make a will save.
Okay. I can't click on myself, but
Yeah,
I'll do it.
I'm gonna move you to the map.
Yeah.
This is gonna suck, because if you make the save, none of this happens.
Make the save.
All right. Here we go.
If you make the save, I apologize.
You were there
It's
the
all right.
whole time.
Whatever.
Hello, I'm here.
It's a will save.
Come on.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, no, I have to check what it actually the DC is.
Ooh.
It's a big. Oh,
That's a very big save. 7 plus what is the charisma?
Let's see what happens. Come on. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting.
Yeah.
Thunder into the void.
No, that is not enough. It was a DC 27. So
Oof.
you are in this other place.
Jeez. Back
So,
into the question mark.
yeah, you're back to the question mark map. So when you cast your spell, you feel something going wrong. Like you basically you do the thing where you draw your fingers and you're trying to just rip open reality to jump through to where you want to go. And as you do it, something feels very weird. You get this weird static feeling all over your body, and it becomes darkness. You just see nothing. And it's like that for several hours. Just nothingness. So what would you do if you're seeing nothing and it's cold?
Presumably, try to cast a spell that gives me some light.
The spell fails when you cast it. Nothing happens. You say the words, you do the hand motions, and nothing happens.
Okay. Should probably try to like feel around to just figure out what even is around, if she's in a room, like that sort of thing.
Yes. Okay. So you feel around, and there's stone underneath your feet. You can tell that it's cold stone. And you walk like 15 feet in one direction, and you feel there's a stone wall. You can kind of make out like these stone, like it seems somewhat climbable to you, like there's stone outcroppings, but it's mostly smooth. And as you walk around, you feel that you're basically in a pit. Like you're in a stone circle that's maybe like 20, 25 feet wide.
Okay. Okay, now this is more Jeff than Iwan speaking. If spells fail, do I also think scrolls would fail?
It depends why the spell failed, but yes, there are many things that could cause magic to just not work.
Okay. Do I like have all of my stuff on me still?
You feel around and you believe, yes, you believe you have all of your items. You don't believe anything was taken from you with a quick just pat down of your body.
Okay. She'll throw on her hat and in her mind, like, imagine what one of the Glorious Reclamation soldiers looked like, and try to make herself look like one.
Okay.
Nice.
Are you trying to make yourself look not like a gnome? Or are you a gnomish Glorious Reclamation soldier?
Should be a gnomish Glorious Reclamation soldier. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
She wouldn't know if that was crazy or not, so.
You haven't seen a lot of them. I don't know if you've seen any of them, but they're a multiracial faction. But the fact of the matter is that Cheliax in general is mostly human. So it's just most of the people that have joined up have been human. But you have seen half-elves. I don't know if you've seen a gnome. I don't think there has.
What about halflings? Have I seen any of those? Like, what's
yes,
the
certainly halflings have joined the Glorious Reclamation. Yes.
Okay. Like, I guess because it's harder and harder to disguise as you change race
Size.
that's further
Changing
further
race,
away from
changing
yours.
size, changing gender is all bad. Yeah.
Right. So, like, I'm trying to think what's the closest to a gnome that is it a halfling? Would it be a tiefling? Like, what?
A halfling, because everything else is medium. So like just size-wise, you're only going to have like one penalty basically.
Okay.
If you go halfling.
Then yeah, let's give that a shot then. Sure.
Okay. So you do that. I have to see what the hell this guy says again. But you're in there for what feels like to you for hours. And anything else you try, like any cantrip or any spell you try, just fails. And you don't fully understand what's going on, but magic doesn't seem to work in the pit you are in.
-2 for race. Sorry, Joe.
Correct, yes. And how to disguise does disguise self, and disguise self does a +10 to disguise checks. Okay, so we're going to make a disguise check later. So, Iwan, you're basically in this cold, cylindrical pit, and you're there for a couple hours, and after that time, you see above you maybe like roughly 50 feet above you, you see just like a golden disc appear.
Okay. Can I do like a knowledge check to see if I know what that might be?
Sure.
I still can't click on myself though.
right,
So you can do it for me if you
Why
want.
not? Why not? Knowledge check. All right, you knowledge button. You believe that it is just normal light. It's a very bright light, and it's a consistent light. It's not like a flickering of a torch. It's just a very extremely bright light. And it's not magical. It's nothing like that. You don't believe it's any kind of interesting thing. It's just light.
Okay.
And after another couple of minutes, something sticks their head over the edge.
Holy shit.
So let me copy Iwan over here. Let me grab you. You are on the warehouse barracks map. I will copy you to this map. So you are in a pit, 50 feet down. And next to you is a thing you can click over here if you want to right-click that and hit Show Handout. So
Whoa.
over the edge, you see he's wreathed in a halo that is so bright, like it's bright light. And he sticks his head over the edge, and he has like this verdant green skin. And he looks over, he has 4 wings above him, and he looks over the edge, and he just tilts his head. You see he's got like white glowing eyes. He's the most angelic creature you've ever seen in your life, in this amazing armor, with a sword at his side. And he looks at you and just says, "Curious." And make your disguise check, because this is when it'll matter.
Sure.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can see yourself now, right? Okay.
Yeah, I can see myself.
Come on, dog. Get big.
Hero
Right.
point.
So you have a plus 10 with that. So you have a 30.
Not bad.
And he makes a sense motive against that, I'm pretty sure. Let me confirm that. Disguise is versus perception. All right, so he makes a perception check.
Probably better.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I rolled that secretly. I rolled the 31, though. I promise. Not lying.
Oh,
I'll turn off my secret rolls
Yeah.
now, though. But I did roll
No
a
worries,
31.
man.
Yeah. So, yeah, so
That's a
he
beast.
can tell that you are pretending to be a halfling. And he looks over the edge, and again, he said curious. He looks at you, and he says, "What do you know of the tomes?"
Can I do a knowledge check to see if I know anything of it? I have no idea what that question means.
You believe he's talking about the books you went to get.
Oh. Okay, well, can my knowledge check be about him?
Sure.
Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, what this dude is.
This is a knowledge planes check, and you rolled fairly well. He is an angel. He is a very high-ranking angel. He is a planetar angel.
Okay.
Muscular, bald, and tall, this humanoid creature has emerald skin and 2 pairs of shining white feathered wings. Planetars are the generals in the celestial armies. A typical planetar stands 9 feet tall and weighs 500 pounds. They focus on combat and the destruction of evil. Though they understand diplomacy, a planetar would rather lead the charge against an army of fiends than negotiate a peace. And do you want to know anything about them specifically, or?
I don't know, just anything that would shape my diplomacy. Like, is he going to know every lie that I tell, for example? Like, do I feel like he already knows the answer to this question?
Let me see if they have any abilities that do that. No. You know that they're powerful spellcasters, but you don't believe they have anything that will just... They don't sniff out lies like an Inquisitor does or anything like that, as far as you're
Okay.
aware.
So I will say something like, personally, I don't know very much about the books. I was helping a friend retrieve them who thought that they were important.
He asks, what friend?
I don't think you'll know him.
again, he looks at you, and he's very odd and alien to you. He's not acting like a person would. So he pauses very long between questions and kind of just like he's looking at you quizzically. He doesn't understand why you're here. He says, "Try me." What friend?
Do you mind if I ask you a question?
He says, "Yes."
Fair enough. um,
As you're wondering, he can just like, what do you know of the tomes? What does he know of the tomes? Assuming the gender of your friend.
yeah.
What does?
The only thing I think we know about the tomes is that they're related to a hellish portal. I assume that's probably why you are interested in them as well.
The angel nods, but only barely. And he says, "Why were you teleporting to the tomes?"
Again, I work with a party. We help each other out. It was something that one of my party members wanted. Seemed like he wanted it a lot. To me, it doesn't or didn't much matter, but you treat well those who treat you well. I was helping out a friend.
What does Iwin? This is Joe asking. What does Iwin genuinely know about the documents?
About the tomes?
Yeah, like you know what vaguely is in them, or
Do I? I mean, Nero's been the one divining on them. Like as far as I know, they just. I suspect that Nero could find an answer to how to use the portal through the tomes, or he thinks he could. But I wouldn't know whether or not he actually could. Or at least I don't think Iwan knows
Okay.
whether or not he actually could.
fair enough. Okay. So he doesn't seem impressed with your answers, and he basically says, "Who is this person? Who knows of these tomes? Who are you speaking of?"
His name's Nero.
And where is he now?
I don't know. I got ripped here. It feels like it's been a long time.
He was with you when you teleported near the tomes?
Yes.
You see that causes him concern. And he, without even saying anything, vanishes, and his light goes away, and you are left in darkness. And
Fighting angel time.
that's basically the session. It's 11:55 now. So, anybody want to talk about anything else before we wrap up?
Where'd you take our friend, Joe?
Yeah,
To this pit.
we just took this adventure very far off course.
Yeah, Vor's gonna have a great time when he comes back next week.
Where's gonna be pissed?
Vor's just like, all right, I'm ready to go. Oh, your party's stuck in Sonara, and the gnome is missing.
If depending on what Chris has got going on, I mean, we might have to squeeze something else in, see what we can do, I guess.
It's true.
That's true.
Also, at the same time, with the 5 minutes I have remaining, I will let you know that as you're walking through the Low District, Nero and others, you notice that there is a significant amount of graffiti in the Low District that is new, that has the general message of the fact that the Glorious Reclamation is not a friend to the tieflings in Sonara.
Interesting.
Iwan's little rabble-rousing appears to have struck a nerve with some of them, and there is definitely some anti-Glorious Reclamation graffiti around town.
Interesting. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, fair enough. But you've noticed that basically, like again, the general message is that the Glorious Reclamation does not have the interests of the tieflings at heart. And you would know that basically tieflings are devils, like they're devil-blooded people. So it's not a hard thing to understand that like these heavenly people would possibly hate them or not like them. And Sonara is specifically a third of the population is Tiefling. It's the most in any other city in the Empire. It's the most mixed city. So that appears to be working. You didn't see any of that in the High District when you were running away, but in the Low District, it's definitely visible and substantial, like enough that you noticed it.
One thing, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure Vors was the only person in the party that Iwen actually told of like her shenanigans. She specifically avoided telling Nero because A, she knew it would upset him, and B, he would be probably try to get in the way or dissuade her. So
I believe that to be true as well.
So I don't know if he would actually. I mean, maybe he could put two and two together, but he may not actually know that it had anything to do with Iwen.
Right. I completely agreed. But at the very least, you know that there is an anti-glorious reclamation element in the lower city connected to Tieflings, if you could.
And Iwen may never get to see her plan through to fruition.
Well, remember, this angel it's a good creature. It's not going to just slaughter a gnome at the bottom of a pit for no reason. It's an angel. It's literally an angel.
It's coming for us.
Well, yeah, it's very concerning that someone else was near the tomes. And someone else seems to know more about the tomes than Iwen does. And we'll see where that goes next session.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a moral and our MVP. What's going on?
I'm going to say
Well,
moral.
I think we got an LVP.
Oops, I meant to search that.
No, I think MVP Iwan for setting up this whole play.
I have to say the planning was amazing. The actual
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump to the warehouse barracks. Like the actual
lead-up?
plan was amazing until you
Yeah.
teleported and got sucked away.
Yeah. So it was very fitting though. She did all this work and then boom.
But yeah, I mean the grease, like the Hound Archon, you just destroyed. Between the pit and the grease, he didn't have a chance.
He's not all there, but he hits hard. You're supposed to know what you have. These are old.
I think Durin wrote some in the chat, but I don't think he tagged them as morals.
No, I just kind of wrote. Well,
You are assuming the gender of your friend.
He's not all there, but he hits hard.
Oh, fuck! There was pit music. God damn it! I'm the worst GM.
oh, you had that literal pit music.
I had pit music. God damn it! I even stopped
Were you
the other
just-
music.
Were you just waiting to put her in the pit?
Oh god, I had this pit set up for like weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I imagine the question of. Is there something that wards the place against teleportation?
I threw a pen against the wall when you asked, "Is there teleportation warding magic?" Fuck you for asking that question.
Yeah, of
come on.
course.
All the other
Why would I
questions-
not ask that?
I don't know.
I play a guy with a massive intelligence.
You're like, oh, is it? Oh god. It's a
How do you divine these things?
His whole shtick is that he's a lore oracle, and he has they get divination spells out the ass. So,
So he scries basically.
yeah, well, he can scry. He can do a bunch of other things. He can do legend lore, which is amazing. Basically, if it's a powerful artifact or a powerful person, he can know its history. But the thing he can do daily is commune. And the way he does it is he has a pen or whatever, so he basically just starts writing, scribbling stuff, and he gets answers to questions. So he can ask yes or no questions, and gods answer him.
Wow.
So he's like, "Oh, hey, is this thing guarded? No. Is it this? Is it that?" And then the last question he asked, the 10th question of 10 that he asked was, "Are there teleportation problems?" The answer is yes. There are teleportation problems.
And yet,
And yet you did it.
and yet here we find ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was interesting because the question was is there something that prevents it? Right? Which doesn't necessarily didn't make me think that it was going to be a problem to do. I just thought it would be blocked.
Slide, yeah.
And I wasn't sure if my ability was considered teleportation officially or not. So
The question was, are there any wards or materials, as in construction, that would prevent us from teleporting in and then teleporting out?
right. So I assumed that meant it was blocked, not that I would end up in a pit.
Oh,
If
fair
I did
enough.
it.
Well, it prevented you from teleporting out.
It
Yes,
did.
true.
It's correct.
Um,
It is a good
You
lesson
don't have an
learned.
age on your sheet because you're you. He's not all there, but he hits hard.
I like that you don't have an age on your sheet because you're you.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
all right. Anybody have anything else, or is that's it?
Yeah, I'm fine with that one.
So I assume we're going to get several hours in the low district.
Yes. Yes, you
So
are.
Nero will probably do some divining. We'll figure this out to something that we can try to get Iwan out.
That's crazy.
This question may help me think about stuff for next session.
Sure.
Is there any like hero point things I can do to get myself the fuck out of this pit?
I don't believe so. Let me look at hero points. But essentially, Iwan will
It's your climb
eventually.
checks.
Iwan will eventually figure out that she's in like a. Is it anti-magic? Is that the word?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Basically,
it's what I
I
think it is.
figured that out.
yeah, you're in an anti-magic field, and this trap, based on what you've experienced, this seems like they did this very much on purpose. Like someone teleported. They expected someone to teleport in for these documents, and they put you in a trap where magic just doesn't work. And I don't think hero points will do anything for you.
Okay.
You can try to climb up the edge, but you found it's fairly smooth, and you're you.
Yeah.
So
And me. Yeah.
yeah, I
Right.
checked your climb check before I made this trap.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's at least 50 feet tall, so it's definitely a severe climb for a good distance.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a good challenge for the next 2 weeks for me to think of stuff. I had this amazing plan for the books, and it almost worked. So now I have to think of an amazing plan to get
it's
out of
true.
a 50-foot
Yeah,
pit.
yeah.
When I saw it all come together, I was just like, shit, this is gonna be fucking horrible, and it was. It was fucking horrible. And you guys also hit like trucks, both Dern and Bob. You did really well today.
Bob
You,
did crazy.
Pounded the shit out of that guy.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, 88 or something.
Yeah,
Once.
88 damage with that crit smite.
Yeah, there it is, Lion Man.
Lion Man, rip. All right, so MVP. What do you guys got?
I win for sure.
Some good execution. I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fun to watch.
There was a shit ton more guys that did not enter the room because of Iwan's plan.
Yeah,
So yeah, okay. MVP Iwan.
hero point.
Take a hero point, yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it, but it almost feels like there's a bit of
I
a
know.
mixed bag.
It's interesting because I just from what I know about planters in general, just from looking up summoning stuff, is like, oh, I'll never summon that. That's way above my pay grade.
Yeah,
Is literally my thought about that when I looked it up before.
Yeah, he's,
About
Blinding.
that angel guy, you mean?
yeah, he's not a joke. He would give the party as a whole a run for their money by himself.
oh jeez.
But again, he's an angel. He's not just going to murder you in a pit.
It's true.
Probably.
How do we get our friend back?
That's a great question you should talk about on Discord and figure out a plan for it.
Yeah.
You don't even know where she is. She vanished.
Joe.
Nero can't find her.
Nero can ask questions, but he can't just.
Yeah.
Fine.
So he'll probably try to triangulate her, and he'll so he'll probably try to triangulate her. He will. Come on, brain.
Come on, brain. You can do this.
And probably one of the first things he'll do is summon something that can teleport the books out of town. Just get him the fuck out. Get him to Vors at the inn.
Maggie can do that.
Yeah,
Maggie's still
that's
around.
probably what he'll have Maggie do is pop these over to Vors, pop on back.
Yep. She can't bring other people with her, but she can bring.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's true. That's true. And pop over there, tell Vors where we are, pop on back.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Anything else before I stop the recording?
Anything good on that note?
What note?
The circle note with the runes, is that a study thing?
Are you reading the note?
Yeah. Give me a teaser.
Can you give me
Teaser.
a reflex save?
A reflex save for reading it?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
exploding
shit.
runes, eh?
Yeah. No, you think it's exploding? It's a different kind of thing.
I was muted, but I said more like a reflex save.
Ha!
Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy. Dude.
You blow up.
Sorry to tell you that as you begin reading the things, so the words you're reading.
I rolled a 1.
Congratulations.
Oh god damn it!
You
You
gotta
died.
stop the recording just yet. Where is this? Scroll up.
Mike.
I have words prepared for this.
Is Nero going to be in the pit too?
No.
Yeah, she's also on the
No, it's gonna be worse.
So
Yeah.
so again, it has 2 runes in a big circle. So one is Visperthul's rune, copied very meticulously, and the other one is some infernal rune. And you read it, and it's completely unknown to you. You don't understand what it is. And the text on the side says, "The key to his binding: the minds of the devils are malleable and can be coerced to follow another of their kind unquestioningly. All that must be done." And as you're reading that part, a snake, a crimson-colored snake, jumps out of the page and bites you.
Oh, Sepia Snake Sigil, yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it before. I did it once.
Yeah. So then you know exactly what happens to you when you get bit by a Sepia snake sigil.
I think I like pass out or something.
Um,
Don't I get like frozen in time or something?
Yeah. So you are engulfed in a shimmering
What?
amber field of force and immobilized until you are released. For multiple days, you are paralyzed and just gone, basically.
Now it's up to me and him?
Yeah,
Oh my
Chris
God.
is
This
gonna
is a
totally
fucking
Oh
twist
my
in the
God.
story, eh?
Chris is gonna totally flip his shit when he comes back, and we've
What
got a
did
gnome
you
in a
do,
pit
Mike?
and an encased Nero.
I had put that there because I figured Iwin would read it while she was bagging it up. This is fantastic. This is.
That's not even
It's
a big
over.
spell. I'm
Everyone's
surprised.
Yeah.
Is there a cure? Do we know that?
I don't believe so.
Someone has to let you out.
I'm not sure if you can just dispel magic on it. We could look into that later. But yeah, for as of right now, there's no way out of it. He's just stuck in there for as long as the spell lasts.
Okay, we're gonna find dispel magic.
So-
That's
So
okay.
now we can't even.
So you see,
And I don't have,
you get
and
to
I
a
don't
safe
have a hero
house.
point.
Do you want to reroll
A
it?
dispel magic can remove the sigil. Sepia Snake Sigil. Blah blah blah. If the target feels itself, it's engaged and covered until released. Either at your command or when 1d4 plus 1 days per caster level have elapsed. Suspended
300
animation,
days.
unaware of its surrounded, can be damaged by outside forces, perhaps even killed. It doesn't say anything about not being able to be dispelled, but
Yeah, I imagine you could probably dispel it if you make the check well enough. But basically, you guys went to ground. You found a tavern to hide out in while you figure out what's going on with Iwin. And during the downtime, he took out some notes from his bag, read them, and is just now paralyzed in an emerald sheen.
I turned to Bob and said, "What the fuck, dude?"
I
What
told
is-
you we should have just went out and caught drugs. We would have had fun.
What is wrong
on the
with
plus
you?
side, you can
Nothing
shove me
goes
in the
normal.
bag.
I'm gonna feed you to Dern if you're not careful, bud.
So I'm feeling like our GM learned his lesson from past adventures to not let us go off the tracks too much, and this is like
This is the
stay
punishment?
in the fucking module, guys.
It's not so much that. I just had fun. Like, I designed this. This is completely out of the module.
Yeah,
Alright,
no.
Dern and I are going to go run for office. We'll find someone once we're elected to deal with
I'm
this.
running for lower
They'll
city
fix this.
council.
Oh man.
Fantastic. Excellent. That was great. I asked
Well
if there
done,
was anything
sir.
left to do like 10-15 minutes ago, and now Nero's paralyzed. Fantastic. Anybody else have anything they want to look at or touch or do?
No, I don't. I'm not
No,
doing
I'm
anything.
fine, thank you.
I sit quietly like this.
Okay. I'll stop the recording.
Wait for 5 days to pass.
Thanks for playing.